on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charge off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah. Now let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Well, it's time for some super late model racing action here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Exciting racing action for the Maine Sim Racing Series here on LSRTV. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is going to be that of John Musson Jr. And John, super late models at less than a mile course. It's a little bit over a half a mile at 0.6 miles, but Nashville Fairgrounds, excuse me. I'm excited to see how these super late models are going to attack. We have the potential of 33 drivers racing here tonight.
Well, if you're a race fan, Sam, all I can say is maybe grab a seatbelt, a very large, very strong adult drink, and kick back and get ready for some fireworks. 33 cars on Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. It's going to be one hell of a race, I think.
Oh, it certainly should be. Again, the featured race is going to be 200 laps here tonight, and we were getting notified yellow flags will count. I know we were discussing that on yesterday's broadcast on LSR-TV when we were covering NASRA. What an incredible finish it was there. If you want to go check out that race after tonight's event.
I'm still catching my breath.
That was an incredible finish if you have not checked out that race. But John, here tonight, 200 laps. But before we get to that featured race, drivers are doing qualifying currently as we take a look at our 411 of tonight's evening. We had to take out and, we've got ourselves time trials or qualifying currently. 18 drivers get to move on to the featured race. And then we have a last chance qualifier, which it's more of a preview for us up in the booth of what tonight's race is going to be, because based off what we were being notified, all drivers make it to the featured race here tonight. We were actually looking at it. I think there was, if we had 55 drivers, all of them could have made it to tonight's race. So we're looking to be about 33 drivers, but currently qualifying underway.
Well, 33 drivers is still a very large field, especially for the super late models here at Nashville. This track is big when you look at it, Sam, but when you're driving it and trying to pass somebody, it feels like it's on a paperclip. It really does.
Yeah, it really is. It's something special. This track is so different. Drivers going to be having a lot of handling issues, worrying about how to get back on the throttle. And it's going to be a lot of amazing racing action here tonight. And before we get to more racing action, big thanks to all the amazing sponsors here tonight. We've got a lot of them that helped get this event started and get the season started, as we're going to start things off with that B&S Scrapped Recycling, as well as that at BCC of Bruce Carter's Carpenting, as well as we go to that of Breach Ridge Barber Shop, and then we go down to that of Citrus Lumber, as well as J&K Fuel. There's a lot of them out there, but we always got to love all of them, as well as mainly Deuceless Heating and Air. Then we've got that of Forder's Graphics, and finishing things off, we've got that of Whiskas Speedway. Big thanks to all of the amazing sponsors here tonight. But John, qualifying underway. Let's take a look at what qualifying temperatures are looking like here tonight for the drivers. As we take a look at the weather, it's pretty hot out there, John. 88 for that of ambient temperature, little bit of wind, partly cloudy, but it's that track temp of 110 Fahrenheit that has got all these drivers worrying about what the grip's going to be like here tonight.
Grip? What grip are you talking about? There's not going to be a whole lot of grip at 110-degree track temperature, and that's right now. As we all know, with iRacing's dynamic track effects, I guess is the word. I don't know. But with the dynamic track that they got going on, this track will actually heat up and build up rubber just like in real life, Sam. So we could see these guys start slipping and sliding pretty quickly. I'd say within probably 20, 25 laps of the start of this race. You'll see guys, as we like to say, wiggling as they come off the turns.
As we have actually just been notified, we weren't sure officially who's all going to be making it in. It looks like they will be delegating it, John. 18 drivers make it through qualifying, which we're going to take a look on our ticker, see where drivers lie, because there's a couple of drivers that are already outside looking in. If you're in the top 18, you get to race for the featured race, but instead of 33 potentially, they're actually going to be cutting it down to only 26 drivers allowed to race in the featured event. So luckily for us, not as much chaos, but it's still 26 drivers for 200 laps. That means that LCQ, the last chance race, a lot of pressure to make sure you are running up front to finish well. But John, looking at the board, got a lot of drivers that are already looking good, that are locked in. Our top about 11 are for sure going into the next round.
I'm really impressed with Landry's 18-second lap. That's almost 2/10 faster than most of the guys behind him. That's impressive. That is really, really impressive.
Yeah, and then you look down at 18th place, we currently have that of Chris Burgess, who's going to be currently at that bubble position. A couple of other drivers, we're waiting to see if anyone else is going to be hitting the track. It looks like that is going to be it. Chris Burgess going to be 18th and going to be that cutoff driver. And it looks like 19th all the way back, going to be having to race their way in. Currently, we've got 28 drivers that have qualified. We'll see how many drivers can make it in through as looks like that is qualifying done. That means it is time for heat race. It's only going to be one heat race. It's your LCQ. But, John, the pressure is on. 25 laps for these drivers. It's all about being up front to move on to the next round.
Absolutely, Sam. This is going to give us a bit of a preview for our feature race tonight, folks. Slicing and dicing, beating and banging. This is, technically it is a short track, Sam. But like I said, to these super late model guys, it seems like it's a lot bigger than it really is. So it's going to be fun to watch. I am really looking forward to seeing how these guys handle 110 degrees on these tires. It's going to be a fast and furious kind of race, I do believe.
Yeah, it should be really fun to see how these drivers can attack as they're starting to get gridded up. We'll take a look at the starting grid as up front, fastest of those that did not make it to the featured race based on qualifying is going to be that of Frank O'Melton, as well as that of Brian Conover, as well as we're going to be going to row number 2. Going to be finding that of Ashton Burgess, as well as that of Tyler Betchler. As we're going to be getting these names, I'm going to be messing up. I'm so sorry for that, but we'll get the names right by at least the middle of the season as well. Going to be back for row number 3. It's going to be that of Ryan Ripley, as well as that of Alan Grass, and then we fall back to see the next row where we're going to be finding that of Tyler that of Belbridger, as well as Eddie Colonelli. Then in row number 5 is going to be that of Chris York, as well as Nathan Barth. And John, we'll give you the rest of the results.
Well, we got Kitty Tripp right there inside of row 6. To his outside is Garrett Lamb. And then moving to the back of the field, we got Sean Kimball in 28. Logan Melcher in the 43. That's on row 7 there. Row 8 will be AJ Picard by himself, bringing up shotgun. He's got a ways to go, Sam, if he wants to transfer into that feature. I think you said they're taking the top 6 or 7.
At least the top 8 get to move on to the next round.
Okay,
as it's going to be 26 drivers for the featured race. 18 made it through that of qualifying. And we're going to be having ourselves 15 drivers racing here for this. Looks like we might have some drivers missing out, but this is going to be some fun racing to watch, John, as drivers set up and ready to get racing here, as drivers knowing this is a lot of pressure. You want to be, up front racing in the featured race, first race of the season, and drivers trying to get as much as they can up front, as it's going to be the 10 again of that of Melton, that of Frank Melton, going to be in the 10 machine, as well as that of Brian Conover is going to be in second position, our front 2. Short track racing, John, I mean, it's been a while since we've gotten to watch super late models short track racing on LSRTV, but it's exciting to have short tracks back.
It really is, and I'm digging that Hooters Pontiac Grand Prix up on that front row right there. I just hope that he's got all that grease from the wings off his hands before he starts this race, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry, that was a horrible joke. That's why I'm a TV announcer and not a comedian, folks.
Well, I mean, you just got to make sure you got those wet wipes and you're good. Everything's going to get cleaned off just fine.
There you go. Well, here we go, Sam. Bring us to the green, buddy.
Here we go. It's the LCQ Last Chance Qualifier. 25 laps. Only the top 8 get to race in the featured race, and we are green. As up front, it's already going to be that 97 making the move into turn number 1.
Wow, that was I don't know if it was a bad start on the part of the 10.
Oh, no.
Or just a great, we got a car spinning into the wall on the backstretch, and he's going to collect another car with him.
That's going to be the 08 who's going to be involved in that one. That's going to be Alan Grass, who got loose out of 2. And that's going to be putting us in our first caution of the night. As Pulse Poppers, they're probably going to be used a lot here tonight, as it's a lot of short track racing. These drivers, they are handling a beast of a machine, heavy, a ton of horsepower, not a lot of grip. Like we noted on it, it's extremely hot. So we're going to see what happened to the 08 coming out of the corner, as he's already riding pretty high, a little bit higher than you'd like, and just loops it around.
Well, you know what's crazy is he didn't actually collect the other car. The other car that hit the wall did the exact same thing that the 08 did there, but the 08 did get into that. I didn't see what number the green car has on him. But, yeah, that's just right there, folks. That's a prime example of what Sam and I touched on at the top of the show. This track is super, super slick right now. 110-degree temperatures. What that means is the track is gonna, it's gonna basically just be like, I don't know how to describe, racing on butter, maybe, or I don't know, oil even, because it's just real greasy right now.
Or ice, a little bit on the boat.
Ice, yeah. And it just when you go to throttle up coming off the exit, that's where it's going to get you to the worst, really, because back tires, like you said, they have so much power in these cars. I want to say it's like 800 horsepower or something like that, 750 in that neighborhood. I don't know the specs.
It's close to that high. I think it's around 750. Yeah. It is a lot that these drivers have under that they're trying to control at all times. Also, got notice of who that other driver was. That was actually Garrett Lamb in the 138 that was involved. That was the other car that was involved in that wreck. And just got word his screen actually went black coming out of the corner. That's why he just drifted to the inside instead of a complete spin out and getting loose. So getting word on what happened to that. And also looks like Alan Grass, going to be our first DNF of the evening, will not be making it to the featured race, as John, these drivers, no fast repairs to work with here tonight. So whatever damage you get, you're dealing with for that race.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of leagues are going to that approach these days, Sam, to keep it as close to realistic as we can. I mean, true in real life, you do have a pit crew that'll hammer it out if they can and whatnot, and you get that here, but there is no such thing as a fast repair in real life. So like you said, what damage they have, they got a choice. They can duck in and try to get it fixed and not go a lap down, or they can just deal with it. The good news is super late models at Nashville, aerodynamics is not even going to be a point in this race.
Well, John, we're looking at my telemetry. We're looking at the ticker. I do not believe that for this heat race, cautions are being counted. So these drivers might be going into a scenario where it's actually going to be time-based on making sure you're in the top 8. So each restart going to be so important to make sure you're in the top 8 if you want to race in this featured race here tonight for the All-American 400. But up front, it's our same too. It's going to be that of, Conover, as well as going to be seeing that of the 10 of Melton up front. Excited to see how these drivers can attack the first start, because we saw the 97 get a fabulous start on the outside. Most likely going to be looking for a similar thing here. Pace car pulls off, and we are getting ready for them to roar on the straightaway. We are green once again for the LCQ. Who's racing for the featured race? We'll find out here shortly. This is going to be the 97 into the inside and already making the clear. That outside lane so strong at the start here, John.
Yes, it is, and I saw a little bit of tire spin on the 10 right there on that start, and that's going to be a thing. Oh, we got a spin. Whoa. The 34 and the 53 might have made a little contact right there. What a save. I mean, absolutely awesome save by Bachelder. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but, I mean, that's pure skill right there, Sam.
Yeah, Bachelder, maybe. We're going to talk to the drivers after the race, get their names squared away for the upcoming ones. But our front two, they have checked out. They're gone. It's really all the battling that's for third on back, being led by that of the 34 of Ashton Burgess. As Burgess getting a little squirrely, but so is everyone else trying to hold on.
I'll tell you what, I was seeing that white car back there with the purple flames. Watch him. He swings out way wide in 1 and 2, and it seems to be working for him, but I don't know if I'd be doing it too much. It's
that's
really,
going to be
slick
the
up top.
86 of Chris York, who's going to be that driver that's been swinging it out, and he's currently running in 7th place. So you don't want to be getting yourself into too much trouble, because you're inside of the top 8. You're exactly where you need to be to move on to the featured race.
Yeah, the top 8 are just single file right now, but if you look in 9th place, it's 3 wide for 9th place. Those guys are trying to catch up to the rest of this pack and get up there and put themselves in position to transfer. Wow, look at that little tank slapper there by the guy in, I believe, 11th. That was Barth in the 37th.
Yeah, those drivers got to be careful not to get into too much trouble as they continue to race on. We see that Eddie Conley, currently running in 9th, needs to run down, get a little bit faster. But our front two, they have checked out. And, that's the one thing, looking at qualifying times, our front two, that of Landry, looking at that of Conover, as well as seeing that for Melton, both these drivers have been showing a lot of speed, just didn't get the qualifying time that they wanted. And now, just are kind of in cruise control as we've been staying green so far for the LCQ. Only one caution so far. And that was on lap 1 of this LCQ. As the laps continue to tick away, 7 laps to go. As the drivers that are battling back for that of 9th position, it's getting hot and heavy back there.
It really is. I'm watching this fight with these 3, and they're going to, the 86 gets a little loose on exit there. Gets into the wall. He's got some significant left and right front damage.
Oh, and they wrecked in front of him as well.
And we have another crash. Wow,
that's going to be Nathan Barth that got spun around as well. It looked like contact between himself and the 11 of Conley, and now that's 9th on back. Issues for that of York, Conwell, as well as that of Barth, and now our top 8 trying to just check out. And what's crazy to think is the driver that was involved in that first wreck, that of Garrett Lamb, is up in 8th place, up 4 positions from where he started in this LCQ.
Absolutely. He's got a pretty good lead on 9th, too. He's got about a 4-second lead on the guy in 9th. So all he has to do right now, Sam, is keep his car clean, keep it straight. And, boy, was he wiggling right there. And just make sure he finishes right where he's at right now.
Yellow going to be thrown. We're going to find out exactly where this yellow came from. So I think it might have been, we'll wait for the confirmation here from our Pulse Poppers instant replay. But most likely someone further back as we ride on board with the 99. Rickard's going to be the driver we check out here. What happened to the green machine coming out of turn number 2? Caution's already out, so not completely sure where the yellow came out, John. Oh, there he goes.
For a ride right there.
11 spun out
he's
as
lucky
well
he didn't
behind
get
him.
any more. Yeah, he didn't get any more damage than he did before.
And
His
with
nose
the
is already
timing of
crinkled
this,
up from that early wreck for the first caution. So, he's got that to deal with. The good news is the guys that do transfer, Sam, if they do have damage right now, we'll be able to get that fixed before the feature starts.
yeah, they're going to get a brand new car for that featured race. But again, they're only racing 25 laps for this LCQ, John. I mean, this is crazy to think, as we're going to be racing 200 laps for the featured race. So still a lot of racing to be done here tonight. Also an update for the drivers further back. Nathan Barth, who was involved with the incident that did not bring out a yellow, the 11, going to be, that of, looking to see where his number is, not going to be racing anymore here tonight as the 37. Barth, who is done for the evening. But looking at where the drivers lie right now, we've got 14 laps. We got less than 8 minutes to try to finish out this racing for these drivers. Otherwise, it's going to finish under timing instead of under laps counted. But this rejumble helps these drivers get another shot to try to go for the 8th place position that Garrett Lamb currently holds. Oh, actually just got an update. It's actually the top 7, and there is a provisional for someone out there. So currently top 7 is where it's at, and that would be running currently is the 53 of Taylor Belchelder that we're going to be seeing right there currently.
Well, the good news is, these laps go by fast. 18 seconds per lap. That's almost 3 laps per minute. So if these guys keep it green, they should beat the timer, theoretically speaking. I got to stress that part.
That's what we're hoping for. I think if we get more than 4 cautions, if we get 2 more after this, I think that's when we get a little bit concerned on the timing. But for right now, should still have plenty of time to finish out this race. And interesting call from the drivers. We'll see where the 97 wants to go, John. But once again, it seemed like that outside row got a much better, entry into turn 1. Was able to really get going. We'll see if the 97 wants to do a similar thing. But it looks like deciding to stay low on this restart.
Yeah, I believe what we saw that last restart, the lap 1 restart, Sam, was they didn't count that as a start, so they had to line back up where they qualified at. But this time he's taking that inside line, which should prove to be interesting. I think we're going to have to watch for some tire spin here on the 97 car.
Pace car pulls off. We'll see how these drivers want to attack here on this restart. Coming to 13 laps to go. Green flag in the air in 9-7, a perfect start. He just right when the car felt balanced, he took off. But it's that battle for 3rd place where drivers inching on top of one another. And watch out, but here comes the 09 of Ripley, who looks like he might be trying to challenge for 2nd place, as well as seeing that of Ashton, as well as the 31 of Conley, all on top of one another. Again, it's our top 7 that get to move on based on positions. Then there's one provisional spot that is going to be taken, as right now, it is the 97 just pulling away as all the pressures for 2nd on back.
Yeah, he got a great start. And I tell you what, the 09 of Ripley is really putting the pressure on Moulton in that Hooters 10 car. And now he's got some pressure on the outside by the 34 of Burgess. They're dicing it up out here. Look at this move that Burgess made on the outside right here.
Burgess able to find his way to get back onto the throttle just fast enough. And Ashton Burgess once again on the outside, 2nd row, back on the throttle and up to 3rd. A great move by the 34, and now might be trying to find a little bit more speed of finding that kind of a diamond apex, hitting the apex, and then getting a better launch and more of a straightaway speed for the 34. Can be a lot more aggressive on the tires, but because it's only 25 laps for this LCQ, you can put on that pressure as Ashton Burgess just put down the fastest lap of the LCQ. With 9 laps to go, the 34 might be someone to watch out for here late in this race.
I'm saying that was a fantastic move on the outside, and he has found some speed, laying down some consecutively fast laps right there. I wonder, is he going to push the issue with the 10 car, you think, Sam? Or is he good to lay back there in 3rd?
Well, I mean, if you're thinking big picture, you get up there, you show that you've got speed, and then you just hold on. But as a driver, you're always looking to win almost every single race you're out there. So wouldn't be surprised to see Burgess at least try something daring here late to try to make a move, possibly on the white flag. But the big goal, don't take out one another when you know that you're so far ahead, and really the battle is for 7th on who's going to get that 7th place position.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking, too. I'm a big picture kind of guy. If I were him, I'd probably just be like, hey, I just want y'all to know I'm here, but now I'm going to chill out. Meantime, though, the car that he passed on the outside of Ripley. Oh, we got a car hard to the outside wall. Wow.
That's going to be Garrett Lamb that got into the outside wall. Hard contact for that of the 138, who was actually side by side battling for that 7th place position, and now falls all the way back to 9th place. Saw his hopes and dreams of making it to the featured race snuffed out in a blink of an eye, but the race isn't completely over, as you see that of Garrett going to be pulling it down. Lamb going to be calling it a night here for the LCQ with 5 laps to go, now 4 laps to go.
He almost put that thing out of the park. In the meantime, we have a battle for 2nd between Moulton and Burgess in the 34.
They're right behind.
Oh, my goodness. Are we not done yet? No, we're not done yet.
No, wow. We are not. 4 laps to go. The yellow comes out. You see the 21 of Tripp being spun around. And we'll take a look here at our Pulse Poppers instant replay. It's going to be the 31 and the 21. They're going to be side by side for quite a long time. But once they hit the back stretch, calamity strikes for both these drivers. Tyler Conley as well as the 21 of that of Kenny Tripp. Coming out of the corner. Tripp just gets into the outside wall, carries on, and nowhere to go.
That goes back to what we touched on earlier, Sam. Racing too hard in the LCQ is how you wind up not going forward. You know what I mean? And the 99's back around again, too. I mean, we got guys spinning everywhere on this track.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of chaos out here. Not so surprising. A couple of these guys, I mean, it's more of a knack of survival, and it's just one of those little mistakes when you're so close to the end. They can throw away your chances, and now in that 7th place position, it's going to be that of Chris York currently. Well, John, 4 laps to go.
We've only got 4 to go, but I don't know if we even need to run them. Look at, is there even 8 cars left? I don't even see anybody back here.
I think there's 10 still running out there on track, so there's still a possibility of someone making a mistake, but 4 laps to go. I do want to give an update on time. We got to believe another 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. So if we get green, these drivers can end it perfectly fine, but time could be a factor here, John, and if it is, we're going to see that, honestly, this could be the final restart of the race, so these drivers have to be on the gas immediately, and for that battle for 7th, it's going to be chaotic, as currently, even though we saw the 21 get up into the wall and be collecting that most recent incident, still out on track is the 21 machine and could be battling for that 7th place position. As the lights are still on the pace car. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is only the LCQ. We still have the featured race, 200 laps. Later on after this, there will be a short warm-up time, intermission, before we get to 200 laps. But, John, what were you saying there?
I don't know if we're going to be able to finish this inside the time limit. If the lights don't go off this time, I don't think we're going to be able to.
It's going to be very close for these drivers, expecting the lights to go off this time by. As lights are off, drivers getting ready to go here. If we get some quick cautions, if we don't race this thing green on this restart, this is when the time will become the biggest factor for these drivers. So this restart could make or break if you're making it into the featured race. As right now, it's that of Brian Conover as well as Franco Melton. Then we got Ashton Burgess, Ryan Ripley, as well as that of Taylor Batchelder, as well as Eddie Cornell, as well as you're seeing the drivers taking off now. We're green. It was a single file restart on that go. 3 laps to go as they are gone already. And I think, if anything, this helps out for the drivers that are battling for 7th. And already a caution. Spin it back.
Well, that's going to do it right there, I do believe.
Chris York, the 86, spins himself around, and currently it's that of Tyler believe Tyler Cornwell going to be the driver that is in 7th currently. So we're going to take a look on this restart. What happened to the 86 to get him spun around on the back stretch? As is that the restart? Single file restart here. It's on the throttle, and even when you're racing down here, John, and you got damage, I mean, it's still very easy to spin yourself around. He was loose in the center of the corner, and then it just got finished up by the 31.
Yeah. Well, it looked like he was down below the yellow line in 1 and 2 right there, and it's real slick right there. Not a place you want to put your tires at. A lot of garbage down there. That's unfortunate. Of course, he was already pretty banged up prior to that. So, but unfortunately, that's just, I don't think we're going to be able to, I mean, what's our time limit right now? Where are we at on time?
We're waiting for our producer to tell us what the time is on their end, as we got 1:15 minutes on the time. So we might be able to be given, you know, like a 1-lap shootout potentially here, but it's going to be all on when the drivers are set to go. If we saw, you know, a single file restart, the last restart might be seeing a single file once again on this go around. It's going to be making things pretty difficult for the battle for 7th. But John, hey, short track racing. In the stands. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's amazing to see the stands. Short track
racing, man.
Short track racing. I mean, first couple of laps here in the LCQ. I mean, it's a great preview for what we're going to be seeing here tonight. I mean, it's been awesome to see short track racing once again on LSRTV.
Absolutely. I love short track racing. I love Nashville. It's a fun little track to race on. These cars, though, man, you really got to, you've heard the old saying, I'm sure, Sam, you got to drive like there's an egg under your throttle pedal. And that's very important on this track, especially with the track tip we've got. And I don't think some of these guys grasp that whole concept of just treating that throttle gently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's all on throttle control. As you see, final lap has been put on our grid. Time is up. And I do not believe that these drivers are going to be getting another go at this, as the lights are still on. So, John, well, that was a quick LCQ. But drivers, they were hoping that this race might have been able to finish under green, but it's going to be finishing under yellow. So it looks like that of Kenny Tripp, I believe, is going to be that 7th driver making it to the featured race.
Yeah, that's going to be your top 7 right there. And then you also said there's going to be 1 provisional. Do we know how they set the provisional?
We are going to find out here under the break. We'll let you know when we get more information on that. But the drivers that are going to be moving on your top 7 got to be that of Brian Conover, as well as Frank O'Melton, Ashton Burgess, Ryan Ripley, Taylor Botch-Elders, as well as Eddie Connolly, as well as Kenny Tripp. Those are the 7 drivers. We'll let you know what the provisional driver that will be moving on, as well as the other 18 that made it to that of our featured race. Man, it has been great racing, John. We only got to see a little bit of it there. We almost got to finish out those 25 laps, but we'll see how 200 laps and how the drivers can fray, as drivers are currently under warm-up. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it is going to be 200 laps here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outlet on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Warm-ups are done for the Maine Sim Racing Series for the All-American 400 here at Nashville Fairgrounds. Drivers are getting ready to line up, grid up, but we do have information. We were waiting to see who was going to be that provisional driver moving on to the featured race. Well, Garrett Lamb did not get in by the LCQ, but by provisionals, it's going to be Garrett Lamb moving on. As the rest of the drivers, again, it is going to be a 26-car featured race here tonight for 200 laps as the drivers are getting gridded up here. John, we got to see a little bit of that LCQ. Exciting racing as we're getting excited here as drivers getting amped up. 200 laps. It is going to be a long one here.
Absolutely. 200 laps. They're doing 18, maybe 18 and a half seconds per lap. If it goes green, it's going to go fast. Do we know if they have a tire limit or not, Sam?
They have only one other set in pit road if needed. As you hear the music, that means it is time for your Team 126 racing lineup. It's going to be that of Devin Landry, going to be your pole sitter here tonight, with that of Matthew Bargani, going to be in that outside of row number 1. Row 2, going to be finding ourselves with that of Brandon Bernie, as well as Nick Dyer. No reference to me, it's Sam Dyer. Don't know him at all, but hopefully puts on a great show, as well as Maiden Lamppoint, as well as Kyle Moody. Going to be in the 90 for number 3. Row 4 is going to be that of Jason Rickard, as well as Matthew Murphy. Row 5, going to be finding ourselves with that of Taylor Jarbert, as well as Mario Ercolani.
Row 6 is going to be the 23 car of Chris Fortier. Outside of him will be the 29 car of Tyler Jordan. Row 7 brings us Adam Jocelyn in the 83. To his outside, Patrick Sullivan in the 16. In row 8, we got Ben Burgess in the 7 and Scott Tapley in the 13. And in row 9, we got Ben Ashline in the 15 and Chris Burgess to his outside in the 47 car.
And that's going to be the drivers so far. There's a couple of more. Those are all the drivers from the LCQ that we just saw racing. John, it's time for us to get racing up front. 200 laps, and it's going to be the 54 and the 38 leading the way. Pace car's already off, and we are green for the All-American 400 going into turn number 1 here at Nashville Fairgrounds. I cannot believe we get to see some great racing, John. We're going to just watch these drivers as they continue to race hard, but they are slipping and sliding already just in lap number 1.
My goodness, the second place car, I don't know how he did not put that thing on the wall. He was dirt tracking there, Sam. Oh, we got one spinning and hitting the wall, and oh, wow. What a huge hit.
In the wall, but there goes the wreck. They're spinning now. Oh, and it's going to be the 97, our LCQ winner, bringing out our first caution of the night. That of Brian Conover is going to be bringing out our first Pulse Poppers instant replay of the featured race. Here to see hard racing going into turn number 1. It gets a little bit of a tap. And also just trying to get back into the throttle, and that's just in the first lap. Already seeing other drivers slipping and sliding, but it's going to be going into turn number 1 again. And John, there's no fast repair for these drivers, so the damage that they're ensuing now, they've got to deal with for the whole entire 200 laps, and Ooh, the 97, hard contact there at the end by the 99.
Well, I think when he saw that car up in the outside wall, there was another car up in the outside wall, upside down, and he checked up, and the guy behind him didn't see it in time, and that's unfortunate. That's just a racing deal right there, and as was the collision after the spin. And like you said, there are no fast repairs, so these guys have to decide if they want to just go in and maybe let the team bump at the fenders a little bit and come back out, or just try and deal with the damage. It's a hard call to make, but at least aerodynamics aren't, super important here on a short track like they would be on a super speedway.
Yeah, I mean, but the one thing that we are going to note on is we're going to take another look at the weather. We saw what the weather was like for qualifying, but it's changed just a little bit here for the race. As you see, it is cooled off just slightly. I mean, it's not a lot. We're still in triple digits, but hey, the track temp was at 110, now down to 102. Still partly cloudy, a little bit of wind, but also the ambient temperature down to 87 degrees instead of 88.
Yeah, that's good news, I guess. You got a whole 9 degrees cooler right there. Bad news is the guys are also racing on a track that should be a little rubbered up. I say bad news, it's not really bad news per se, but it could come into play later on. You got a track that's already rubbered up, and like we talked about, that rubber on the track makes things a little slick, a little greasy. So we'll see how it pans out here. I tell you what, though, the 38 on that first start on the green flag, Matthew Bourgeon, or Bourgeon, I don't know how you say that. Sorry, Matthew. I really don't know how he kept out of the wall, Sam. That was just, I saw his numbers on the straightaway. You know what I'm saying? That's how sideways he was.
Well, I mean, for these guys that are up front, I mean, you got to be thinking they had to watch that whole entire LCQ. They weren't in like a warm-up. They had 5 minutes to warm up, but they had that whole entire cool-down period for themselves. And now they're getting ramped up, jazzed up. That first lap, you've got a lot of energy built in. And John, LCQ laps, caution laps did not count. We've been watching it now. Laps do count this go around for the featured race. So it helps us out in the booth. We don't have to panic about the time and who's got to be where at what time during this race.
Yeah.
But certainly for the drivers, now the panic starts to set in when you're in those final 50, 25 laps. If there continues to be a lot of cautions, how are we going to be able to respond to get up through this field? But right now, that of Devin Landry, he was a screaming quick, fast time for qualifying. The 54 obviously is going to be one of the favorite drivers to watch out for here tonight. And I think he's probably going to be the driver that could win this race. But let's see how the elements change throughout the night as the pace car dropping down low and everyone's stacking up, getting ready to go green. Our first restart of the night here for the All-American 400 for the featured race. See Barney the Flagman waving that arm, and it is green here at the Nashville Fairgrounds into turn number 1.
That was a good restart that time on the behalf of the 38. Got a really good run coming on the outside right here. Just a little bit of a wiggle, but he's still strong up there on the outside lane. He's going to make a fight for this first place coming through turns 3 and 4 right here.
And you say, oh no, the 38 brushing into the outside wall, and that's going to be damage that he's got to be worried about because now it gives an opportunity for the 1. Here comes that of Brandon. Barney's going to be bringing it into the inside, but not able to commit just yet. But so far, that damage has not hindered the 38 just yet. These cars can be tanks at times, but yellow thrown on the backstretch. It's the 99 being spun around. Rickards going to be having another issue again. Second caution, he's been involved already in this featured race.
He's just having a rough night. I tell you, between the LCQ and the feature, he's going to need a very strong adult beverage before it's over with.
I mean, some type of relaxer afterwards, something to just, cheer yourself up after a night like this. These drivers, see here on your Pulse Poppers instant replay, going to be ducking it low, trying to make the pass, and something we're going to be seeing all night. Just loses it on the exit, overcorrects it.
Oh, goodness.
The fact that no one else was involved, though, John, that's what's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, there are a good 6 or 7 cars behind him at that point. I'm telling you, that's our calamity corner right there. Exit of turn 2, it seems like. We've had a lot of guys lose it right there on the back stretch. So that's going to be a place to watch there, Sam. I don't think it's over with. I think that corner is going to eat a lot of cars.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be extremely dangerous for a lot of the drivers here tonight. And, looking at how the field is going to have to react with that. I mean, you've got a very heavily banked corner. Then you go down to a transition to a flat surface, as well as the heavy amount of horsepower you got with these vehicles that just, even when you're being gentle, and like you were talking about, of pretending that you got an egg underneath your throttle pedal and also under your brake pedal, of trying to ease and have that throttle control, it is still very easy to just accidentally just tap it a little bit too hard, and away you go off the exit of these corners.
Absolutely. You brought up an interesting point. The elevation changes on this track. I got a buddy of mine that's got a great topographical map of this track. It's from when the track was first built. And they literally go down into the corners, both ends of the track, through the corner, and then back up. I think, if I recall quickly, it was about maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet of elevation change going down into the corner, through the corner, and then back up again. And that's probably part of the reason these guys are having such a hard time navigating the exits of these corners, because the car, once it comes up out of the corner, it's going to want to unload. What that means, Sam, is it's going to get light on the wheels. And you combine that with a greasy track, and, well, Shazam, you've got cars spinning out in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, you think of like even, a roller coaster in a way. You go up, and then you feel that lightness, and then you go down just in your body and feeling that force.
Yeah.
That's kind of what these cars are dealing with, but at extreme speeds out and in of these corners, and all the drivers going to have to focus on making sure they don't make any types of mistakes. But you see up at the top, we changed from that of laps to time, just to give you reference. Yes, these laps, there's no caution laps are going to continue to count, but there is always going to be that time factor to watch out for here tonight, because there is something to watch out for here tonight. But drivers up front, stacked up and ready to go here. John, pace car lights are off.
Oh, that's a
it's
great
going to be
shot
that Landry.
right
Again, going to be those drivers, and yeah, I mean, just get to see a sense of all the drivers going into the corner, getting excited. Barney the Flagman set up and ready to go. 200 laps we had here tonight. Drivers excited how tonight's going to be going. As the green flag back in the air, they race into turn number 1.
I love the restart. I like looking at the flag, man. It looks like he's trying to beat somebody to death with that flag when they come by. But I tell
His
you
elbow workout,
what a great
incredible.
restart. Look at this. The 38's down the inside, gets into the corner a little bit harder than I thought he would right there. Manages to keep it down there, didn't lose it, didn't get into the 54. It's a great fight up front there, Sam, for the lead.
And they're going to wreck behind, bringing out a yellow. But the question is, who was leading at the time of the yellow? As we see the 10 on the inside, low and slow.
I'm going to get a Pulse Poppers replay here and see what happened back there with the Hooters car. I bet he didn't clean his hands off.
Got too much of, those wing sauce and too messy possibly, as he just
he
was not clear when he came down right across the 11 of Eddie Carnwell. And just like that, seeing the 10 spin around, luckily did not hit anything. But it's so easy to think that you're clear in these moments and then spun around, as we're going to take an aerial view presented by that of LiveSimRacing.com, and going to be seen. I mean, from up above, it's easy for us to tell how clear a driver is, and that's why you love spotters. But short track racing, thought he was clear, just wasn't.
He got real lucky right there. He didn't hit anything. But let me tell you, I need to give a shout out to our illustrious producer, Cody Woot Woot Wooten. I mean, he's given us some great camera shots right there. That was a good shot to see exactly how that whole incident took place coming off coming off as a 4, and how lucky that Hooters car was to not hit anything. He probably went into that spin, Sam, doing a good 85, 90 miles an hour. And when you hit an inanimate object with an animate object going that fast, calamity ensues.
Oh, it absolutely does. As getting word of that, the 99 of AJ Picard going to be parked for the night. So the 99 is done officially. Going to be our first DNF of the night. As up front was the 54 that actually was leading at the time of the yellow, which that could have been a real change on this restart if the 38 had the chance to control when they took the restart this go around. Could have really changed a lot for who was up front, but Landry gets another try to hold off the 38 and try to get a better restart this go around. And I'm looking at the rest of the field here, John, and I'm wondering who will be that third driver to potentially come in and try to battle between our front two, because it's a long race. We're already early in this thing, coming up to 20 laps being ran. I'm wondering when and who's going to be aggressive up front to possibly take out one another, or will they stay green and clean with one another up front with each other for the rest of the race?
Well, I would have gone with our LCQ winner, Brian Conover. He showed some really good car control in that LCQ. Unfortunately, he's been caught up in a couple of messes that weren't of his doing, and he is way back there in 24th. So I'm going to just say your guess is as good as mine, brother. It'll be somebody who keeps the fenders on the car and doesn't find himself upside down on a wall at some point.
It's got to be the key, not to be spun around or flipped upside down. We saw a lot of that during the practice before qualifying and the LCQ. Drivers trying to get the maximum. I mean, before we went live, a lot of drivers were flipping upside down. I think we all had a sense there was a potential of us seeing cars flipping for this featured race. The real question that we had was how many times would we see a car flip? Luckily, we're on the virtual side, so everyone will be all right. But hey, it's great visuals as you see the drivers lined up. They have been notified. Single file restarts here, as we'll see how in line this is going to be changing drivers' attitudes going into these corners, or will we see even more wrecking as on the front stretch we are green once again. It's Devin Landry going into turn number 1 once more.
And that's going to be a sigh of relief for Landry. He doesn't have to deal with Bourgeon on the outside of him making life hell for him on the restart. And it gives these guys a chance to breathe and just go without worrying about, how hard they've got to drive it into the corner to keep from losing their spot. I kind of like single file restarts, to be honest with you. Now we'll just see how long they can keep it going.
That is the key. How long can they? And right now, everyone's still staying single file out through most of the field until you get to the later halves where the drivers are finally starting to make some passes on one another. As you see drivers at 0-9 trying to make a pass on really our older LCQ pack back here, getting aggressive. And they also already got the early tempers boiling because the LCQ and a little bit of bumping and that went on during that race. We'll see if they can clean it up early on, as we're only in 24, coming to 25 laps into our 200-lap featured race. And we're already seeing some drivers get a little bit of white-knuckled racing on top of one another early on.
Yeah, and that was to be expected, Sam. We knew that was going to happen. But I am almost 100% sure that race control is probably in these guys' ears saying, hey, look, man, we've got 175 laps to go, guys. Take your time on this. Don't be so aggressive that you're going to cause accidents out here. I tell you what, the two front cars of Landry and Bourgeon are kind of checking out there, Sam. They've already got a little over a second lead between third, and I don't see that shrinking anytime soon.
No, I'm not seeing it either, and we're starting to look back at the drivers that are battling currently for the position of a 7th and 8th place, as they're all on top of one another. You got that of riding on board with the 4 of that Amado LaPointe, and seeing where the drivers was seen side by side and going into turn number 1. And you touched on, seeing how much the banking of this track is. I mean, at points, when we're riding on this gyro cam, really can't even see where the drivers are really looking at from this camera.
No, when you're driving on Nashville, you're looking down into that corner, trying to look at this move on the 41 here on the inside of LaPointe. That was a pretty gutsy move on the exit of corner. But you're looking down towards the inside there, kind of like right off the 8 post, just trying to time it, make sure you get your tires down as close as you can to that yellow line without hitting the yellow line. That 41's really putting up a fight on Mateo right there. That'd be the 41 car of Urkelani. We'll just call him Urkel. Urkel's really put up a good fight down there on the inside line, and he's got that 11 in the car, that Dodge Hellcat behind him. That's a good-looking car right there. I'm not a Dodge fan, man, but that is a gorgeous car.
Yeah, and I love the fact with these super late models, it gives the drivers an option to really make the scheme their own and put the different, constructors they want on, and getting to see Dodge back racing. Hey, we missed it when they were there, but that is truly one of the more nicer schemes out here tonight.
Yeah, as a painter, I'm with you. Oh, boy, he got a great wiggle right there. Good save. As a guy that paints these cars, man, I love the fact that iRacing is finally loosening up their protocols on what manufacturers we could put on which car. It's great. And then we can control the spec mapping. If you look at that car, Sam, right there, He's got a little bit of gloss going on, a little bit of metallic, and in the back half is a flat black. I love it. Whoever did that guy's car, it's a fantastic paint scheme. But back to racing. We still got a hell of a race going on right here.
And it's a
Caution's out
quick
again.
yellow that gets to be thrown out, and that's going to be our LCQ Victor. It looks like heavily even more damage than he was before. As we'll take a look here on our Pulse Poppers and Fishing Lures instant replay. Drivers that have been around one another most of the night, continuing on to have their issues, as we'll see coming over, seeing the 21 get sideways, and instead of getting contact, decides to spin it out himself to not make any more contact with any other drivers or into the inside wall. Safe play. We're bringing out another yellow here tonight.
Yeah, that was a really safe play. And I've seen guys do that, both in sim racing and real life. When you see a guy spinning in front of you, you've got a really fast decision to make. Do I hit this guy, or do I try to, somehow avoid him and not, kill us both? That was a heads-up move on the 97. Unfortunately, like you said, we touched on earlier, he's already got a lot of damage from the earlier incident. That was our LCQ winner. And that's the guy I was kind of looking for, maybe getting up there and mixing it up with these guys in first, second, and third, but I don't think it's going to be his night tonight.
Yeah, I think at this point it's kind of played easy and be patient. Let's see what other driver's going to have issues here tonight, because we saw during that LCQ and also in the early portions of this race, drivers getting extremely aggressive and almost getting into that outside wall. We saw a lot of that during the LCQ. But here for the main event, for the feature, we haven't really seen a lot of drivers getting too aggressive in the outside wall. I think it's also an understanding of, hey, there is still a lot of racing to be seen here, and we got to be patient. These tires the drivers are on, they've got this set that they're currently on, and then one more set in pit road if the drivers decide to go use that set. So a lot of decisions have to be made, and with the amount of caution laps we've seen, we saw a little bit of a longish green flag run. I think that was the longest green flag run that we might see here tonight, unless we keep it clean the longer the run goes on. But certainly drivers, if we get more yellows close to the halfway of this race, who will make the decision to come in and get tires? I think that's going to be an interesting moment of this race, when things could make a twist on who's up front and who's further back.
Well, that's a great point, Sam. That's a really good point. But I think something else we got to look at is how many laps are they going to do on these tires? Honestly, if we keep having these cautions like this, I wouldn't risk it. I'd stay up front until maybe the next caution, somewhere past lap 100, somewhere past the halfway point. They just really haven't put a whole lot of usage on these tires yet. I think, like you said, that was our longest pit flag. Yeah, longest green flag run that we've had. And to be honest with you, I don't even know how long it was.
I think it might have been, because we got to around lap 20-ish. I think we had about almost 12 laps, 13 laps of green flag racing there. So it was a decent amount that we got to see. But we're waiting to see more, because I think when things get real interesting in short track racing is when you start to get those lead lap drivers having to worry about lap traffic. That's when then you get to see drivers picking and choosing how you want to use picks and utilize the lap traffic to make passes. That's the short track racing I love to see. But who knows, we'll even get to that point as the pace car lights are off, getting ready to go this time by.
Well, I think, what I want to see is how these guys handle these cars once they have put a lot of green flag laps on those tires, man. That's when these cars are fun to watch. Watch these guys in the cockpit. It looks like they're swatting at bees or something. Their hands are really moving on that steering wheel, trying to keep it straight. So, yeah, I'm with you, Sam. I really want to see some green flag runs here.
Well, we're going to be sticking with single file restarts, I believe, from here on out, possibly. We'll see if Race Control wants to change it up. But it's going to be that of Devin Landry once again. He's led every single lap this race, and we'll see if he can continue on with his leading ways. As falling back to see what third place is doing, Varney's just been lingering, it looks like, kind of just letting the other drivers go on by, which kind of giving me a sense, taking some notes from the LCQ, where we saw that of Ashton Burgess, kind of waiting and utilizing fresher tires and was putting down some fast laps. Might be seeing a similar thing here from the 1, as well as the 88 behind him, that of Nick Dyer.
Absolutely. I think you got a really great point right there. These guys, they understand. I think our top 5, top 10, they understand the length of this race. So they're not going to be really overly aggressive with getting into the corners, trying to make up ground and pass somebody. They're going to ride along. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure if an opportunity presents itself for somebody to make a move on somebody else here, they're going to try it. but they're not being overly aggressive. But I really like that 88 car back there in fourth. That's a good looking paint scheme also.
Yeah, you know, more on the one machine. I mean, that of Brandon Varney, he's actually a winner and a 4-time Oxford champion. And what's crazy about this one, when he was at Oxford, he won 3 races in one night. And John, what's even crazier, there were 3 different cars on that night when that Brandon won. So we know this one, he's got short track speed and talent. We'll see, though, if it translates here tonight for a victory, as he's running currently in third and just watching our front 2 pull away.
Well, he's got a lot of company on the back bumper there between the 88 of Dyer and the 90 of Mooney. It's getting a little aggressive right there, Sam, if you will. And I tell you what, you brought up Oxford Speedway. I don't like Oxford at all. You never stop turning at Oxford. I mean, there is no straightaway. You are constantly turning the wheel to the left. It's a tough track. But for somebody to win 3 different classes in one night at that track, that speaks volumes for his ability.
Yeah, and you know, that's control that you also have to deal with. You're constantly turning. You never know when that car could snap on you. And you know that tonight, drivers are thinking about the aggressiveness that they got to be putting on. As you got that in 5th place, Kyle Mooney. As you see Dyer now going to be ducking it to the inside, the 88. Getting tired of running in 4th. He wants to move up into 3rd. Got to be careful not to make any contact with a 1. And, whoo, if anything, might be losing ground as the 88 going into turn number 3.
Yeah, I think we're seeing it, Sam. We touched on this in the LCQ. That high line is going to be the place to be when this track eventually rubbers up enough. I mean, I've watched enough races at Nashville Fairgrounds to know that after a good 30 or 40 laps of good green flag racing, that high line's a place to be. So if he wants to make that pass, he's going to have to do it one of 2 ways, Sam. He's going to have to get a run and hope to put his nose on the outside of that 1 car and make it stick and be able to use the momentum. Or I see it happen, go in high, stay high in the turn, and then dive down. If you can get the tires to grip and bite and get some, bite off the corner and then make the pass going down the straightaway. But it's going to be hard to do. And you ain't kidding, man. Landry and Bourgeon have checked out. They've got a 2-second lead on the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, and right now they are about, I believe, 8 seconds away from catching up to lap traffic that are all on top of one another. So even with our leaders pulling away, when you've got this big of a lead, it might be okay to just let off as you 2 continue to show that you're the cream of the crop currently. I think if anything, for that of Landry, he's got to be banking and hoping that we do not see Bourgeon come in and possibly wreck the 54 for the lead. But you never know when it comes late, as we are a quarter of the way through our featured race. Still got 3 quarters to go, but certainly drivers, they're getting aggressive as we see the drivers further back. All the LCQ drivers, they're piled up, and this is the lap traffic that our leaders are soon to be coming up to.
Yeah, I was hoping we weren't going to go yellow right there. That was a lot of great saves, like all in one little incident right there. 3 or 4 cars all got wadded up, bunched up right there, and we're able to keep going and keep it green. But you're right, Sam. I would say if this stays the way it's going in about maybe 10 laps, 12 laps, our leaders are going to be dead in the middle of this. And that's when it gets fun to watch these guys, folks.
I don't even think it's going to take 10 laps. It might just take a handful to get there with the amount of hard racing that we've been seeing from this back half of the field, and that slipping and sliding and having them let off. They were giving a lot of time to our leaders to catch up to them. And, maybe it's not the leaders that take each other out, but lap traffic, always an unknown of if the leaders are going to be safe when they're racing around lap traffic, as we ride on board. And you can kind of see on that left side the hands of David Landry, the way that he's trying to arc it in, hold off, but it's the exit of the corners when you really start to see that wheel working his way. He's got to move it back and forth, and he's holding on currently. But Landry doing a great job currently, but you got to see the more he turns to the left through the center of the corner, showing that this track and these tires, they're going to get used up really quickly if he's not careful.
Absolutely. And, the longer we go, that's another thing we needed to touch on earlier. I wanted to, but we had a caution come out, is rhythm. This is a rhythm track, Sam. I'm sure you know what I mean when I say that. Basically, the longer you go at green here, the more used to the entry and exit points you'll get, where you can get on the throttle, where you need to get off the throttle, maybe touch the brake just a little bit as this race goes on. So I predicted if we can just keep going green like this, the racing is going to get better. And you called it, buddy. It's been 4 laps since we said this. And here they are at the tail end of the field. Oh, our leader's into the wall right there. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but he got into the wall just a little bit.
Work-on's already gotten the wall a couple of times. Thought hit 38 today was going to be done in just the first 2 laps of the race. So I think it's okay if Landry just brushes it, but you don't want to be doing that too many times. And also, you're hoping lap traffic doesn't do it in front of you, as they're going to be bobbing and weaving and now going to be going to the outside, trying to get by the 11.
Oh.
But Eddie Cornwell, it's difficult when you're trying as a lap car to make sure you don't make contact with a leader, but at the same time, Landry very upset over the radio with the way that interaction was with the 11.
I can't blame him. You don't want to be the guy that takes out the leader. And the 11 right there should have played it smart. Yeah, he's going to lap down, but it's going to happen. He just needs to not be the guy that takes out the leader. So luckily we got away with that one, but I bet next time by, he'll probably have that in the back of his head. Maybe I need to check up and get down low and let them go.
And that was only 2 lap cars. This is going to be the next group of drivers that our leaders have to get through, as that is going to be our LCQ winner, the 97 of Brian Conover, as well as the 7 of Ben Burgess, as well as Chris Burgess, going to be the next 3 drivers. And we saw our leaders having a little bit of issues with just 1 lap driver ahead of them. Now the question, how will they be able to react with 3 lap drivers ahead that they need to figure out how to get by?
Well, we're going to find out here in a few laps. And folks, do not adjust your screens. Nothing's happening with your video picture. It's the clouds in iRacing. We have dynamic weather here in iRacing, which means we get cloud cover that moves in. And what does that do to the track temperature, Sam, when the clouds move in?
It cools it off, and it makes it a lot more grippier. And it was already starting to cool off from the start of the race from what it was like for qualifying. So these drivers, they're loving the grip, and that just means that these drivers can sometimes get a little bit more aggressive, which can sometimes cause them to get in a little bit more issues than they would like as we move forward to 8th place. Biggest mover of the night, Garrett Lamb, our provisional driver that took that 26th position for himself. John, he's now up to 8th place.
He's been playing it smart. We've been kind of watching him a little bit here and there. He's trying to stay out of all the craziness that's been happening around him, and he's been really good at that. I won't say he's been lucky. It takes some skill to dodge spinning race cars, but now, like you said, he finds himself up from 26th to inside the top 10 in the 8th position, and hoping to maybe push a little further once we get a few laps down and maybe even a green flag pit stop, get in there, get some fresh tires and see how things go.
Yeah, I mean, for Garrett Lamb also, I mean, yes, he's coming from provisional, but from all the drivers that raced in the LCQ, this 138, highest mover of all those drivers as well. So right now, Garrett Lamb, yeah, he's got to be happy that he had that provisional, and he's been able to capitalize with it as he's going to be catching up to the 11, going a lap down past the 11. But up front, the battle for the lead, it's still on. And John, that lap traffic, it's just getting closer and closer.
Yes, sir. And I'm telling you, Bourgeon's got his eyes on the lead, I think. I think he's going to try and capitalize on something here, maybe use one of these slower cars as a pick to get around the 54. If I'm one of these lap cars, I'm a little nervous right now. I really don't want to be the guy that causes an accident with the leaders, but they are coming fast, and they're going to be fighting amongst themselves as they try to pass me. So, yeah, that makes me just a little more nervous.
Yeah, and there's really no safe place to really try to get out of the way unless it's the center of the corner where you just go extremely high, just hit the brake and let everyone go on the inside. That's really the only place. Or you slam on the brake and you go on the inside on these straightaways. But otherwise, it's Team 7 do exactly like we noted on. Yeah. It's picture perfect, get out of the way system.
And I'm sure Landry as the leader is like, hey, thank you so much for doing that. But man, look at this. The 38 of Bourgeon is all over the bumper of Landry right now, just waiting for a mistake, it seems like.
Yeah, and even with the drivers passing by lap traffic, that last time by, we'll see on this time by, but Bourgeon's been faster than Landry these last couple of times. That last lap, though, it was Landry that was actually 300th faster, and yep, that caution comes out, and it looks like it's some drivers in the middle of the field, and they're upset. It's that of Ryan Ripley as well, as I believe the 4 of LaPointe going to be involved in this one, as we'll take a look at our Pulse Poppers instant replay. What happened to the drivers that were trying to get into the top 10? Well, they're all on top of one another. Not a lot of space was given, and also trying to get by lap traffic. Looks like there was a little bit of a scuffle ahead. The 11 initially getting spun around, and the 9. And patience was trying to be given there.
Well, it looks like the 9 checked up for the spinning car, and somebody got in the back of him was what I saw. And that's unfortunate, but it happens. It is Short track racing, as we said many, many times here.
We take a look from the aerial view that is presented by LiveSimRacing.com, and see him already spun around and
Oof.
just nowhere to go, and then gets
wow,
pile
the 15
drive.
just smoked it in there.
I mean, I've called this a lot in other broadcasts before. One of my biggest pet peeves is seeing drivers just fly through cautions. Yellow's already been thrown,
Yeah.
or there's a lot of smoke, and drivers just don't slow down. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, and we saw it there. It was Patrick Sullivan, I believe, that came flying through, and with that incident, damaging his car, someone else's car, and could have actually ruined his day. Gosh, it is hard damage for a lot of those drivers.
You know,
And actually-
there's actually a technical term for that, Sam.
Oh,
ARCA braking.
well, we're in the super late model, so it's super arc braking, I guess.
There is actually a YouTube channel that is all about that. I'm not even joking. It's called ARCA Braking Weekly, and
it's
for
so
those of
great.
us that race in sims, they know what that's all about. And you're right. It's one of my huge pet peeves also, especially when the yellow flag's already been out for a good 2 seconds right there. You see cars are all sideways. I just do not understand the need to come in there at full throttle. God, that's a beautiful car on that 54. I just noticed that gold flake detailing.
There's just so many good schemes that are out there. Also, want to give an up on a takeaway. I'm going to take it back. It actually was not Ben Burgess that we saw in the contact. I believe actually it was that of Ben Ashland that might have been the driver that I saw pile drive in. So just want to clarify on which drivers I saw going in there. Don't want to put anyone under the bus that doesn't deserve to be thrown under the bus.
There you go. Good. That's nice. That's so nice of you. You're such a nice guy. You're so nice.
It's so nice, but at the same time so mean. Because I still am throwing someone under the bus.
Hey, that's what we're here for. We call it the way we see it, man. You know?
Oh, absolutely. It's that of Devin Landry, Matthew Bergon, as well as Brandon Verney, Nick Dyer, as well as Kyle Mooney is going to be those front five. They've been the front five all race long, and then back and finishing out the top 10 going to be Jason Rickard, Tyler Jordan, Garrett Lamb, as well as Mario Eckerlani, as well as Ashton Burgess going to be your top 10. We saw Burgess be extremely quick during the LCQ. We'll see if that speed can translate here. But, John, we're double filing it up. They gave him some time. The drivers had a respectful green flag run. And so the race admins give him a treat. Let's try double wide restarts again.
Well, we're going to find out how it works out for him. And we've also got some slick tires on these cars, Sam. They've been out there for 77 laps. That was a 34-lap green flag run we just saw.
Track's now below double digits, so they're starting to cool off without cloud cover. But pace car's off, green flag in the air. It's going to be Landry as well as the 38 going into turns number 1. We'll see how that outside line can get going as you see everyone racing around. John, we're going to give these drivers a couple of laps of just hard racing. We'll keep it quiet as you get to see these super late models racing here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It has been incredible racing here at the Maine Sim Racing Series, and pass for the lead in yellow quickly coming out. John, we were having good racing.
We were. We should have just stayed off the mic.
Oh, no, there goes the 09.
Yeah, they're still wrecking back there.
Oh, man. Ryan Ripley has been struggling here tonight. He didn't have good luck during LCQ, kind of similar to the 99. Got into the featured race. as we're going to be seeing what exactly caused this yellow. You're going to see this wreck ahead, and then it's calamity afterwards with drivers trying to slow down. And oh,
Well,
the 90
hello.
cents seem to not be happy. We're gonna take
I wonder
another.
if that was from earlier there, Sam.
Possibly. Like I said, there was some drivers that seemed a little bit of tempers flaring from the LCQ and could have flared up here into the featured race, as already the contact up front going to be causing the spin.
Wow.
And then I mean,
I don't want to say it was deliberate, but that looks deliberate.
there's only one way to figure that out, and that's if we ride on board. But first, we got to figure out what actually brought out the yellow, as we're going to see that of Mario Rickards in front, going to be first coming around, and this is what's going to be initially bringing out the yellow, as he gets spun around. Tried to woe up for Lamb, and then the spin later on. But yeah, riding on board and getting to see what the steering wheel was like for that have gone over. It's going to be the best view for us to see. Did he do it on purpose, or didn't he? We went back to the restart possibly here. So we're going to do an extended wait. Oh, here we go.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's so questionable. We're not going to make any assumptions.
It really is.
Just,
yeah.
we'll, you know. All right, here we go. We're going to be critiquing what happened on the steering wheel here. Hard racing, coming out of turn 4, and John, we'll let you make the judge here.
I don't know what to say. I don't want to offend anybody here, but his hands went to the right for no reason, unless maybe
the sky,
he didn't see the guy coming so fast on the outside. You know,
maybe. Well,
whatever it was, it didn't make the 09 very happy. You know,
the chat's gonna make that decision.
There's gonna be some hard feelings. Yeah.
Well, we do had a pass for the lead. We had that, Devin Landry leading for the most part, and then the 38 came around and made the pass, and it is pronounced Matthew Bourgoin. That is what we're going to be going for.
Bourgoin. Well, thank you.
So a big thanks to everyone that's been helping us in the back. Again, we're going to get all these names right. It's just the start of the season for these drivers. Still a lot of racing to be going on. Next race for these drivers going to be in the late models and the super late models. Going to be Wednesday night, November 10th, where it's going to be the first initial regular season race for the drivers, as we're going to go to Myrtle Beach. We'll see how the drivers can attack there Wednesday night for the Maine Sim Racing Series, as it's going to be that of Devin Landry. Great launch for the 54 as we go into exit of turn 2. We'll see how that Bourgoin is going to be able to make a pass going into turn 3, as drivers trying to make sure that they stay close, as we're getting closer and closer to halfway here, John.
Yeah, we still see some guys just kind of bouncing it off the wall as they exit the turns right there. We talked about that earlier, Sam. It's not hard to do at all. And especially when these tires keep getting older and more laps on them, we're going to see a lot more of that. I'm really surprised that the 38 gave up the lead like that. It looked like he might have spun his tires on that restart, because that's how he took the lead. On the restart before this, Sam, he did a power move on the outside for about 5 laps and took that lead back.
Well, another caution. We'll take another replay. Pulse Poppers, you got your service and payment here, as it looks like the 83 of Adam Jocelyn just came into pit road. That time we'll go a little bit further and see in other positions. Is this the potential yellow? As it's side by side, and oh no! Almost more contact further back. Brian Ripley once again.
It looks like the 09 just kind of lost it all by himself there. Oh, look at his fenders. He's got no fenders left. That's probably the biggest problem he's got. His car is beat up.
Yeah, and with these, super late models, yes, they can take a little bit of beating and banging there, but there comes to a point where that damage is obviously influencing these cars on it being looser, tighter, or just not handling right at all. And most likely for that of Ryan Ridley, it's a mixture of all that, and as well a little bit of poor luck on where he was and spun around once again. We'll see how these drivers want to attack, but race control, they gifted these drivers double wide restarts. Well, guess what? Too many wrecks. We're taking it away. We're going back to single file restarts this go around.
Well, you knew it was coming. Come on, who are we kidding here? We'll see how they restart this time with the single file restart. Should be good. Like I said, I would like to be able to talk. I wish we could do the in-car interviews with the 38. I'd love to ask you what happened on that last restart, because the one before that, man, he looked great for 4 laps. He was on the outside, just really using that outside high line, like we talked about earlier, Sam. It's the place to do your passing at. He was able to do it, but on that last restart, look, he spun his tires or something. But man, this is we got 7 laps till we're at halfway. And this is when these guys are going to start thinking about taking tires, maybe, I think.
Yeah, I mean, right now you could possibly be thinking about coming into taking tires, but there's that risk and reward, right? I mean, for these drivers, you're risking the fact that you're going to be going further in the field where it's a giant unknown. It's kind of like the Wild West back there of you're going to be taken out by anyone and everyone if you're not careful. But
exactly,
up front, you're secure and safe in the most part, you should say. But we're also seeing drivers up front scrubbing the wall, so you never know what we're going to be seeing.
Wow, that's some good information our producer just passed on to us. We started this race with 26 cars, and at the moment we have 25 still on track, which, Sam, when you talk about super late models at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, that's a really good stat.
Oh, that's a fabulous stat to be thrown out. I think it was AJ Picart's the only driver that is not racing, which he was removed after the first 2 wrecks of the night. So our only driver that's out of this race was removed from it. Everyone else has been staying on track, getting the repairs done, and I think that's also, a test to short track racing, the fact that they're not going, 150, 60 miles per hour into one another, so that they're driving slow enough where they could take a couple of beating and banging and still be able to race.
Absolutely. And hey, I don't know if you noticed it, but this top 4 really has not changed a whole lot. The top 5, really. I mean, we've had the same 5 guys up front since the drop of the initial green flag. The lead's changed a couple of times, but we've still got the 54, 38, the 1. These guys are really putting on a great show, Sam.
Yeah, top 3 have not changed at all. Kyle Mooney as well as Nick Dyer, they've swapped positions. Kyle has moved up 2, Dyer's down 1. Some of our biggest movers, Garrett Lamb, 7th place. He has been doing well for himself, almost up 20 positions as we are green once again, single file racing. And we'll see how Bourgoin's going to be trying to make a pass here. Here's a 38. Great center off here of turn 2. He's going to be right on the back bumper to turn 4.
That was a great move by the 38 of how do we say it again? Bourgoin?
Bourgoin? It's like a coin,
Bourgoin,
but with a G.
More coins. Yes, okay. He's going to get more coins if he wins this race, Bourgoin will. Anyway, he had a great move right there. He's just he's trying to figure out how to get around Landry. That's the problem. He knows it's going to be easier to do it on the outside, but I don't think Landry's going to give him that outside. I think that if Landry sees him sneaking up there, he's probably going to put a block on that. In the meantime, back there behind Landry and Bourgoin, we got Varney still running 3rd with Mooney behind him, and it's a bee's nest from there on back. Look at that 9 car. That's a pretty car.
Yeah, that's going to be Jason Rickards, who's currently trying to figure out his true placement. Currently in 7th and having one of the biggest movers from the LCQ of Garrett Lamb on his back bumper, the 138, doing everything in his power to hold on. And then you also in front of them is the 29 as we ride on board with the 9 of Jason Rickard. Got that of Tyler Jordan, who's running in 6th place. We've been talking a lot about our front 4, where they've been at, but everyone else behind is still in the top 10. They've been running well and consistent, staying pretty patient with one another. But this is where a lot of the big moves have been happening as a car sideways on the backstretch and almost bringing out the big one.
Another caution. Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
a lot of
47
cars
got collected. We're going to be seeing Tapley going to be bringing out this yellow 13. of Scott Tapley. And what's interesting here, he did the right move, as we're going to see the incident being made. Gets loose, gets sideways, gets into the wall, holds the brake, but it's at the worst possible place on the track, right where drivers aim for coming out of the corner. And only one car officially spun around. That was a 37 of Chris Burgess that's going to be spun around. But, gosh, that exit of turn 2, it's been a trap.
Well, you know, when you're coming through 1 and 2, and you look up and all of a sudden there's a car where you need to be, and you make evasive maneuvers, you're going to spin. That's nothing against the 47 right there. He was just trying not to run into another car. Unfortunately, he did find that inside wall, so he's going to have a little bit of nose damage, maybe some right front nose damage. But for the most part, his car looks pretty good still, Sam. So, I take that back. I'm sorry. I did not see that left side.
If you just keep it in the wall, it looks great on the right side. But now you can see it is completely pancaked in. Tires sticking out. 47 has to most likely go into pit road. Might have required time as well with the angle that he came into pit road. I mean, came into that inside wall. There's just certain spots. You hit a car and you get required time where you have to come into pit road to get that repaired. Otherwise, you will get penalized with a black flag or even a disqualification. So
that's what I love about iRacing, Sam. It's so realistic when you talk about the damage model. You know, they don't tell you exactly what's broke on the car, but they'll tell you, hey, man, you got to come in and get this fixed. And if you do stay out, which I've seen some guys do, eventually the car just quits running. So, kudos to
we'll quit running with your engine blowing, or it'll quit running because they've disqualified you and they've removed you from the track. Those are usually the two you get.
Yes. And, I love it. I don't know if I mentioned this yet or not, but I've been doing sim racing for a while, buddy. And I've tried all kinds of them. I started off with the Papyrus series, which is where Dave Kamer and the gang came from. The guys that created iRacing, that's where they came from. And I love it. It's just one of the most realistic things you're ever going to. And it's not just NASCAR or, in this case, super late models. They got everything from Formula 1 to Formula 3. They've got the GT3 series. I mean, all kinds of cars that you can piddle around with. So, folks, if you're just now watching this for the first time, head on over to iRacing.com and check it out. I guarantee you'll probably find something you're going to like to drive.
Well, for more information, go to iRacing.com to get yourself started, get your career started. I know for me, I knew about iRacing for years, and I never really got the opportunity to start racing. There are some drivers that I know that race the highest level, even on a controller. So if you've got a wheel, that is a great place to start. If you've got a controller, you can start there as well. It is incredible to see all the drivers that have the opportunities to be racing here on iRacing. One of the most realistic ways and closest thing. If you don't have the money or the way to race in the real life cars, iRacing is the next best thing. But here tonight, green flag here at the All-American 400 as we are past halfway for the start of lap 105. It's still that of Devin Landry leading up front. But Bourgogne as well as Varney going to be the drivers that are going to be coming with a lot of speed. And Varney seems to be finding his pace finally. Before on that last restart, actually put down one of his fastest laps of the day for himself. So the one starting to find a little bit of pace here, and he's been waiting for the later half of this race.
I told you this earlier, Sam. We touched on earlier. The longer they go on this race, the better off the better they'll feel. They'll find their entry points. They'll find their exit points. Where to get on and off another caution.
Oh, it's the 11.
The 11 car.
And it's going to be Eddie, as we're going to be seeing the 11 on this Pulse Poppers instant replay. How did he get around? That's going to be the question of the day, as coming in through turns 1 and 2 and out of turn 2. Is it going to be a similar thing we've seen all day? Yep, same exact thing. Just loose out of 2 into the wall. That's pretty quick. Chop, chop. And for us, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more from the All-American 400 for the MSRS on LSRTV.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outlet on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maine Sim Racing Series. We are racing in the super late models here tonight. 200 laps at the Nashville Fairgrounds for the All-American 400 on LSR TV. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is John Musson Jr. And John, we've been seeing these drivers. We're past halfway. Lap 112. Lights are off. We're still doing single file restarts here, but give us your quick thoughts on how this first half's been for yourself.
No, I'm joking. It has not been boring at all. It's been full of excitement. We've seen a lot of really good racing moves. We've seen some accidents, Sam, and we got the last half of this race to go, buddy, and I believe it's going to be just the same as it was on the first half.
Well, we're going to be doing it once again. It's Stephen Landry up front, and it seems like it's been him all night long. Who could beat the 54, the 38 of Matthew Burgoyne's been the closest driver all night long, but we've started to see a little bit of speed from the one. Will Varney been able to be making a pass? Brandon Varney in the one, third place currently, but we haven't been able to get a long green flag run since the last one we had about 3 or 4 cautions ago. We'll see now as already up front two. John, they're starting to pull away once again.
Yeah, I think Varney's one of those guys. He's you see him sometimes, Sam. They actually get better the older the tires get on these cars. For them, they don't like the new tires. Oh, cut a car slapping
right on the
wall
back, on the front
there.
stretch. It's going to be the 21, I believe, that was involved in that one. And there goes the
And
10
the
as
10
well.
car.
More drivers piling in, but we stay green. No yellow has been thrown just yet, as Frank Melton was hoping to see some type of yellow be thrown. It did not get thrown, so the 10 gets back rolling and back in 20th position. Second to last car on the
And the leaders are
lap
closing on him fast.
Whew. He's going to pit road quickly.
Yeah, he's going to have to. I think he's probably got some of that required assistance fixing that needs to be done that you talked about earlier there, Sam. But yeah, like we were saying before that little action right there, Varney just seems to be one of those drivers. He gets better as the run goes on, and these cautions are doing nothing but wrecking his game right now. I think if we see this thing continue to go green, we'll see him get back up to those high speeds that he was doing earlier and reeling our 2 leaders back in. But in the meantime, it's the same old show we saw in the first half of this race. Burgoyne is all over the back bumper. Landry trying to figure out how he's going to make this pass.
Yeah, I mean, the question's going to be every single time we have a yellow, who's going to come into pit road and take tires? Currently, our leaders running about 2/10 slower than what their best time was. So, yes, you could get a slight advantage with fresh tires, but I don't think it's a big enough advantage for a lot of these drivers to think, hey, I need to come in. But Burgoyne, another bump. That's the second one he's given, and now he's going to try to march onto the inside, not able to get a big enough run. But you can start to tell we're past halfway. We're starting to come to the final quarter of the race here in just about 30 laps. And Burgoyne about to get his a little bit of that, patience he had for the first, 3/4 of this race. It's about to be thrown out the window as he's already starting to use that chrome horn.
I'm saying, man, I think he is tired of looking at the back end of that 54 car. And Burgoyne, he's got a great car right there. He's got some amazing car control. And look at him. He's going to just arc it up a little bit like you talked about earlier, diamond it, try to get a really good run coming off of 4 to take that momentum down into 1 and 2 right here. He's just having a really hard time making this pass, Sam. You got to kind of wonder how long until he really gives Landry a shot in the bumper. Here we go, down to the inside of 3 and 4.
I think if it's going to be a pass going through 3 and 4, he's been the better driver through the center of turns 2 and out of turn 2. We'll see here. Where does the 38 find the speed? Matthew Burgoyne coming out of the corner, gets a little bit lower, but not as close as he was the last 2 laps, so has to resettle. And we touched on it earlier in the first half of the race. Finding your rhythm. Well, I think right now the 38, he's got to get back into that rhythm that he once had. I mean, just one little slip up can cause you to get out of picture from yourself. And right now we're seeing our leaders, yes, they're right on top of one another, but you can just see those little type of entry differences from one another that are really making them battle hard. Is also the battle for 3rd place still hot and heavy, is that of Brandon Varney has not really been able to get away from that of Kyle Mooney, who's been just, Mooney's been so close, but has not shown any type of speed to really want to pressure the one just yet.
No, I think, again, he's just also probably just maybe biding his time. We had 200 laps to go when we started this thing, and now he sees it as well. They're down to 76 laps to go, 75 now this time by, and he is starting to put a little bit of pressure on the one car. Oh, we got a car turned around, and it's the point. Once again, he's been the victim of a couple of spins today so far. Unfortunately, that's going to bring out our caution one more time.
Mateo Lapointe's going to be bringing out this one. We're going to be seeing exactly what happened to the 4 machine, but also got into, when he tried to back up, made contact with the 83 of Adam Jocelyn, and ahead, already spun, was the 09 and came back up onto the track, and no one else was ready for it. And then comes back up, contact between the 97 and others, and I'm going
to be honest. I think the 09, I think his night's done, man. He's multiple laps down right now.
Oh, we wondered about pit stops. They're going now, as it's going to be a lot of our front runners coming into pit road. Looks like about 4 drivers decided to stay out, but these pit stops, they are extended time. So if you make any type of slip up, it could cost you a lot of moments. It's already out of pit road. It's going to be the 54. Oh, my goodness. David Landry only took 2 tires. I think the 38
overshot his pits. He only took 2? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. That of Landry only took 2 tires. Well, and here come the other 4 drivers I noted on that decided not to come in the first time. They're going to be coming in now. But yeah, John, that is the drivers that are still, you see how slow it takes to get up and down. Usually when we watch, most of the top 3, stock cars, that of the Cup, Xfinity, and the trucks, it takes anywhere from that of 13 to 15 seconds to make a pit stop. Here for 4 tire pit stops, it's 20 to 23 seconds long to take 4 tires and fuel. So that's why it was so shocking to see, Landry only taking 2 tires and taking off, as well as Garrett Lamb taking only 2 tires and taking off as well. So we'll see how the 54 and the 138 can hold off. And that means Matthew Burgoyne going to be all the way back in a possibly 4th place on this restart.
Well, it looks like Landry, Lamb, Rickards, Erkawani. Thank you there, Mr. Producer Guy. He only took 2 tires as well. I mean, man. And then I think the first 4-tire stop, like you said, is Burgoyne back there in 4th place. This is going to make this restart very, very interesting.
Yeah, especially because, 2 tires, short track racing, it could work out, especially because they were only about 2/10 off of what their fastest lap times were, which, in the means of short track racing, that is a lot of speed to be losing for yourself. Those drivers with 4 fresh tires are going to be loving it, but we go back to the start of the race and those first 4 laps when we had those first 2 restarts. John, it was that of Matthew Burgoyne that got in the wall early for the 38. That got a little bit too much gas coming out of turn 2. All these drivers now are going to be working with very slick, cold tires that are fresh. They could be feeling like, hey, we're superheroes now. We've got a lot of grip. We can make some big moves, but at the same time, you have not been racing on these fresh of tires for 130 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys, I'm not trying to say they forgot what it felt like when they first started this race, but they're about to get a stiff reminder of what new tires feel like, Sam.
Green flag back in the air for the start of lap 132 here for the All-American 400, as it's going to be that Devin Landry up front. Lamb also, again, those top three going to be on only 2 tires. They only took 2 tires on their pit stop, and already the 9. Jason Rickards is going to be trying to make the pass. The question is, when will the 38 of Matthew Burgoyne try to make a move for himself? Because we now get to see, John, the test. How well can 2 tires hold up for?
He got a little loose coming off of 2 right there. He's got to let the tire pressures build up on these new tires. It's, that's going to be the big thing right there. Plus, these 2 in front of him are really mixing it up right there. I lost sight of him for a second there. Oh my gosh! Hey, kiddo. Hi. I'm sorry, my daughter just walked in. I haven't seen her in a while.
Hi.
I love you.
It's no problem, John, as it's going to be racing up front. Going to be that of Landry, Rickard, as well as Matthew Burgoyne. Going to be making the move up to 3rd, making the pass by that of Lamb. Lamb is dropping back quickly and just putting down the fastest lap of the night, almost hitting the 17-second lap time. It's that of Landry up front, as Burgoyne able to make the pass for 2nd here. Landry just put down an 18.08 second lap time. The next closest was Burgoyne, who put down an 18.15. But this now is the chance for that of Burgoyne. He's got a little bit of fresh air. How fast can he put down a lap time to try to catch up to the 54?
Well, I'll tell you, that was just amazing. That's a qualifying lap that Landry just put down. But he's also, the big difference right here, Sam, he doesn't have Burgoyne all over his back bumper. That's the biggest difference right now. So he's got fresh air. He's got, a couple of good new tires on there. So he can concentrate on how he's getting in and out of these corners. But in the meantime, Burgoyne has cleared the 2 cars that he was fighting with, of Ricker and Ercolani. Ercolani, thank you. I'm sorry.
Ercolani, right, as well as that was also that of Lamb. That is already, Lamb started up in 2nd, has fallen all the way back to 9th place. So already showing that that 138, maybe it would have been better if he just had gone with 4 tires, because already it's been a net gain. It's already been a net loss for the 138 team, that probably now just is hoping for a quick caution to possibly come in, get the other side of tires, and then get back out there and try to race and gain all that time back. But it is incredible to see the lap times that have been placed currently, as we're starting to see drivers make their march forward. But right now, Mario Ercolani doing a great job in 4th place, holding off that of Brandon Varney, as well as that of Kyle Moody, as well as that of Tyler Jordan. Those drivers that were formerly up in the top 5 now are trying to even get into the top 5.
Well, what's amazing about this to me is the 41 car has been in 2 or 3 incidences tonight. Sam, he's still got damage on that nose.
Whoa.
Oh, we got a car down on the inside of the track. He might be off the racing service, so it may stay green. But, man, that had to be an eye-opener for some of those guys that ride that yellow line like that. Wow, that was definitely an eye-opener for some of these guys, man. All of a sudden there's a car right in front of you that's not going anywhere.
That was Scott Tapley in the 13 that was stuck on the inside. And also want to give updates for other drivers. The 09 of Ryan Ripley, who we kind of, John, you noted on, most likely was going to have to be removed, was removed 2 cautions ago. Yellow flies here, as I believe it's the 11. Once again, another one of those drivers that's brought out quite a few cautions here tonight. We'll see if he is also done, or if he'll be staying out as he slowly toes his way, getting himself straight. As here's another Pulse Poppers instant replay. What happened to the 11 here of Eddie Conley?
Hello, Wall.
See, if you want to imitate the Herbie fully loaded, you gotta also need a fence to ride onto.
He fenced it again.
That's just making it worse. Oh no.
At this point, he's probably just really not happy with himself, and man, wow.
Eddie Conley has now officially left and is called a DNF. But you're kind of, when you're trying to flip it around, you don't just let the car drift around. You really got to throttle it, tap the brake so it loops the car, and then you get going.
Yeah.
That is a great way to just add more damage. Something.
Well, you know what this does,
caution,
though, Sam? This is going to bunch up the front of this field. This is going to put Burgoyne back on the back bumper, Landry. Of all people in this field, I don't think Landry wanted to see that caution at all. At all.
No, he had a 1.2 second lead gap over Burgoyne, and Burgoyne and Landry were both running very similar lap times, which is impressive to say, especially because Landry only took 2 tires. But that's what short track racing can gives you those options of you can run very similar lap times to the drivers that took 4 tires. It's when we get into those extreme long runs where you get concerned about your tires and the state they're going to be in those final 20 laps. But early going, hey, this is working out great for David Landry. But at the same time, you got to be scratching your head on, was the risk of not using that other set worth it here at the end of the race?
Well, it appeared to pay off for him at the restart. We're going to find out how it goes. We got 54 more laps to go, I believe, this time by. So we'll see. Now, I, for one, I want to see this thing go green the rest of the way. A couple of reasons why. All these 2-tire guys, I want to see how they hold up on the long green flag run. And the second one is my daughter is home from college, Sam. I haven't seen her pretty little face in a while. So these guys need to wrap this up in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean... I'm so happy for you, John, that your daughter is back in town, and we'll try to clean this up as we are coming up to the final quarter of the race. The first quarter, lots of drama was there of drivers just trying to get their footing on the racetrack, but we are now coming up to 150 laps that have already been ran. These drivers have already put down a great show so far, but I think with every race that we come to, I mean, we haven't thrown out the cautions breeding cautions, cliche, because we already knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But if anything, the aggression certainly is going to be raising here for these drivers as we get closer and closer to the end.
Absolutely. And we talked about this earlier. Burgoyne has been very patient on Landry, in my opinion, on the pressure, on the aggression of trying to get by him. But like you just touched on, as we get down into this race, I think that's going out the window. And we may actually see the infamous bump and run that we have seen on so many short tracks in so many different series.
Well, Matthew Burgoyne has already shown he's willing to use the bumper a couple of times here tonight, but he's got fresh tires and now on the back bumper of the 54, who's been leading for primarily most of this race as we continue to race on. I think it's only maybe been 10 laps that Devin Landry has not led here tonight, and we'll see if the 54 can hold on. Again, it's the power of 2 tires that Landry took on our last time that came into pit road back on lap 127, or the power of 4 fresh tires that Matthew Burgoyne took back at the same lap. As right now our front 2 doing exactly what they've been doing all race, John. That's be up front, try to pull away. But it's the 9 of Jason Rickards that's the new driver in third that's doing his best to try to stay close to our top 2.
Yep, he is falling in their tracks right there. And I'm noticing that Varney is having a real hard time hanging on that car right now. He's been extremely loose on exit for the last couple of laps on both ends of the racetrack. Might be one I want to keep an eye on, make sure he doesn't loop it around. He's got a great run going right now, Sam, and I would hate to see anything take away from that. But he's back there still fighting in 5th. He's been in the top 5 for most of this race, if not all of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, he's been up in the top 5 he was running 3rd, fell back to 5th. He's been now kind of stalled out behind that of Mario Ercolini. And Ercolini, I'm questioning, we have seen a lot of damage on that 41 machine, and I'm wondering if that's the main reason why he's a little bit faded off as the 9, rushing the outside wall out of turn number 2, but still running straight. Got to be careful of getting too close to that outside wall. And Ercolini now looking to give a little bit of an opening for that 4th place position.
Yes, sir. We got it's basically a 4-dog fight right now for that 4 spot, 5, 6 cars back there looking for that opportunity. Somebody make a mistake, maybe somebody slip up, we'll get by you. But it's just, wow, some really good and aggressive racing. And here we go down the inside. I thought maybe the 90 car of Mooney was going to make a shot there trying to get by Varney, but it looks like he backed off and maybe decided to wait a little bit longer there. Great fight though, but in the meantime, it looks to me like maybe Landry is checking out on Burgoyne a little bit there. He's got about a half a second lead on him.
Half a second, about 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of that of Matthew Burgoyne. And you got to be wondering for Burgoyne, we're past the quarter marker of this race. We're in the last quarter of this race here tonight, and all the pressure is on. How do you catch up to the driver in front of you? And if Landry pulls out to another second or more lead like he had before we had our last caution, I'm curious to see how the 54 reacts, because if he gets caught up again, You know Matthew Burgoyne's going to have to use the bump and run early in the first 2 laps if we get another restart, but if the lead gets brought out so large, there might not be enough time. It's contact. It's going to be that of Varney holding on, and they're going to be 3 wide for 5th place. And contact Mooney as well, going to be making more moves and moving forward, as that was Tyler Johnson as they're smoking, and that brings out the yellow.
Oh, that's so unfortunate, man. They had all those cars had it. Mooney looks upset. He's coming in a hurry. But they all had it saved, man. It looked to me like they could have kept going green there. But that was a huge. We saw that coming, though, Sam. We saw this coming.
Yeah, I mean, they were already kind of starting to have tempers flare. Varney really got aggressive, but it was that of Johnson that really threw it in there, got into Mooney, and Mooney, because he was involved in the wreck, by the time that he finally got moving, he got lumped all the way back from battling up for a top 5 position to now being back in 9th place. So we'll see if the 90 machine can carve his way back up to the front. But this is when things get interesting, John, because you're running out of time to really make any options here.
You really are. And I don't, that's, we're going to say this again. We said earlier, I don't think Landry wanted to see this caution. He was definitely moving away from the 38 of Burgoyne, and this is going to give the 38 another shot at that bumper. And I think you were right. I think you called it there, Sam. If he can get close enough and he can get into that car, he's going to give him the chrome horn and try and move him up the track a little bit and get by him on the inside. But we'll wait and see. And I'm pretty sure probably doing a single file restart here.
I believe we're still going to be staying with single file restart, as the drivers, they did their best to try to stay green for a longer time. I think race control wanted a little bit of a longer green flag run before gifting them another try at, double file. But I feel like this obviously is going to be helping Landry the most as the leader single filed out, because he can really take off, and it's going to be a lot harder for Burgoyne to really figure out how close he is to make the pass, or even get back onto the throttle. And I think, honestly, if we're going to be seeing another wreck, I don't see it being up front with our front 2. It could be back for that battle for 5th where Ercolini is. That 41 looked heavily damaged. Felt like, for the way the drivers were racing, they just wanted to get by the 41. Felt like maybe they were holding everyone else back, and all the slipping and sliding. How much tire wear has that done to those other drivers, as pace car lights are still on? John, it's only the first race of the season, and it's not even officially the first race of the regular season for these drivers. Their first regular season race going to be at Myrtle Beach Wednesday night for these drivers. They're going to be in late models and super late models that night for 40 laps for the late models and a 50-lap featured race for the super late models.
Dirty Myrtle. That's a fun racetrack right there, man. I don't know if you've done any laps on it, but it's short, it's tight, and there is going to be bumping and banging at the Dirty Myrtle. But back to tonight's race, man, I'm really impressed with Varney's car control. He was all kinds of sideways at one point, dirt tracking through the turn, and still maintained a position and did not spin that car. That was definitely heads-up driving by Varney. I want to give him a shout-out. That was awesome.
It was incredible racing to see. Oh, no, I just got over the radio that Kyle Mooney given an EOL penalty after that incident. So the 90 going to be going all the way to the end of the line on this restart.
Wow.
So we'll see how well he can get moving for himself. But up front, it's Landry, Burgoyne, Rickard, Varney, and that of Ercolini. Going to be your front drivers as they're stacking everyone up. Oh, boy. Thought we were going to see a big one before we even got green.
There. Landry, he knows. He knows what Burgoyne's got to do to get by him. So he was playing some mind games on that restart, checking up, going and checking up again, trying to throw these guys off their game for that restart. And it sort of worked, but not really. So we're going to see how it plans out here, Sam, the next 15 laps. No, I'm sorry, 25 laps, 35 laps. I can't do maths. Math's too hard.
We just keep on counting until our producer says we're right at this point. As we're going to see the 9. Jason Rickards going to be up in 3rd position. He's got that of Brandon Varney behind him, trying to make the pass, as well as behind them, battling for that 5th place position. It's Garrett Lamb making the pass on Mario Ercolini. And Garrett Lamb, our biggest mover of the night, continues to impress. He didn't make it through the LCQ, missed out, actually came in as our last driver on provisionals, went from 26th position now into the top 5 for the 138, who has been involved in other wrecks. This is an impressive run from that of Garrett Lamb.
This is an outstanding run for Lamb tonight. He's really showing these guys, hey, I can do this. I'm here. Pay attention to me. As you touched on there, Sam, didn't even survive the LCQ, got in on a provisional, and started dead last, has driven through the carnage and the mayhem, and finds himself in the top 5, and he's only got to hang on for a handful more laps to really make a good success story out of this.
Oh, absolutely. And some of the best battling that's been on track. We saw for a quick second there the 88 of Nick Dyer and that of Kenny Tripp. They've been doing well, but also looks like contact going to be made on the backstretch, or yellow going to be thrown once again here as the drivers were starting out lap 170 and cars spun around on the backstretch. As we take a look at the Pulse Poppers instant replay of what exactly brought out this yellow here for tonight, as I've lost count, John, of how many we're at, but still, it's been great racing to watch.
It has. It really has. It's just unfortunate that we've had so many. Oh, that was rude. Oh, my goodness.
Well,
Wow.
that's not the way that you want to see yourself get spun around. As
No.
saw the 7 of Ben Burgess, as well as seeing the 22 racing with one another. We'll see here from our aerial view presented by LiveSimRacing.com, and it looks like kind of similar to what we saw earlier in the night. Drivers thinking that they're clear and trying to make abrasive moves and just aren't clear enough.
Yeah, when you go down in the center like that into the turn, trying to make a pass from the inside, you've got to understand that your car is going to go out towards the wall. There's nothing you can do to stop that. And the last thing you want to do is hit somebody that's already out there, but that's kind of what happened right there. And it's unfortunate. That guy was having a great run tonight in the 22 car. He'd been staying out of trouble. He kept his car fairly intact for most of the night. But that's just that's going to take him out of the picture for the win, I do believe. Not the win,
Yeah, and
but a
that
good
was
finish.
Tyler Johnson. That was that driver that was involved in that wreck. And also update for that of Ben Burgess. He is going to be given an EOL starting at the end of the line as well for the start. And for Kyle Moody, who has got the EOL for the previous restart, the 90 already up to 12th position for himself.
Well, that's fantastic. We've got some guys that are still on track right now that they're multiple laps down, but they're still hanging in there and still giving it a fight. So that's kudos to them for not giving up yet. But back up front, Devin Landry is probably pounding his steering wheel right now, going, "Come on, guys, let's get this over with." And I'm with him.
Yeah.
I really am.
I am too, and at the same time, he's probably pounding that steering wheel even more because he's seen every restart. He pulls away more and more,
Yeah.
and the more times that they're given a chance for that of Matthew Burgoyne to be closer and closer on these restarts, it's giving the 38 a better shot to possibly give a bump and run and ruin what has been almost a perfect night for the 54 team. He has been up front leading almost every single lap out of Devin Landry. What a race it has been so far for himself, but John, I think both you and I know short track racing, just because the laps are coming close to the end does not mean that your rear bumper is safe.
No, it does not. And I see a double file restart coming here. That being said, now if the 38 can get the same kind of run he did a few, I don't even know how many restarts ago it was, when he was on the outside of Landry, he fought for 4 laps there, Sam, and eventually took the lead away from Landry. So we'll see what happens here on this double foul restart. They're going through 3 and 4 now, my friend. Why don't you call them back to the green and what we hope is our last restart of the night?
We hope for it. It's going to be that of Devin Landry, Matthew Burgoyne, Jason Rickards, Brandon Varney, as well as Mario Ercolini. Going to be your top 5 as they're green coming down the front stretch here for the All-American 400. Going into turn number 1, it's going to be side-by-side racing. The 38 going to be keeping it close, but it's going to be that of Landry on the inside. Great run. Little bit of a shuffle from 38. Burgoyne losing some ground, and that little bit of a shimmy gives plenty of space. Landry securing first place on just that lap, and they go back into turn number 1.
That might have been the one and only shot that Burgoyne had of taking that lead away from Landry. He, like you said, a little wiggle coming off of exit right there. Lost a ton of momentum, though, and that's going to cost him. I don't know if he's going to have what it takes to get back up to the bumper, the 54, There's something about that two-tire stop there, Sam, that Landry did on that pit stop. That it's just he's found a great way, a fast route, to get around this track.
Yeah, but the issue is Matthew Burgoyne, the longer the run goes on, the faster the 38's going to get as he's right back on the back bumper. Again, Landry only took 2 tires. The last time they came into pit road was back on lap 127. Burgoyne took 4 fresh tires. So the more that they get heat up and the tires get more wear and tear, it's going to be the 54 that sees the drop off even worse than the 38. But still, I mean, rhythm was the thing we touched on in the first half, in the middle part of this course. I gotta say, even now, will Matthew Burgoyne be able to have 3 laps where he just has perfect runs, be able to have an opportunity to get on the back bumper of the 54, or even be able to get underneath that of Landry?
Well, he's looking for grip right now. I've seen him change his route through the turns, his line through the turns a couple of times now. So you can tell he is just looking for something that's going to give him that edge over Landry. But Landry's just on a rail right now. Oh, we got another caution on track. Come on, guys. Come on.
Gosh, out, and it's going to be the 83. Adam Joslin going to be bringing out this one. And take another look at your instant replay. Pulls, poppers, fishing lures, and poles for you to go check out. They're getting their money's worth here tonight. We had a feeling that they were going to, as Adam in the 83 coming out of turn number 2, just too low, and loops it around.
Well, good news is, I was going to say, let's get him to turn around. He didn't hit anything this time. As you can tell from the front of that car, that Sam, he's hit something a couple of times.
Yeah,
that car's got a frown.
Yeah, Adam Joslin's been into pit road many a times here tonight, total of 9 times trying to get repairs done.
Wow.
And because of all those times coming into pit road, 2 laps down is the 83. So currently right now, 14 drivers on the lead lap, as we're less than 20 laps to go here tonight. As drivers getting ready to get going, and it's going to be seeing drivers getting their lap backs and trying to get wave arounds if possible. But up front, it's still that of Landry, Burgoyne, and I'm just wondering, John, for these drivers, what if someone decided to wait until later to try to get a set of tires? Well, the answer for that was that of Garrett Lamb in the 138. He actually came into pit road about 20 laps later than everyone else to get repairs done in a little bit of tires for himself. He put his other set on. Again, he took 1 set, then took another set 20 laps later. I'm wondering if maybe that could be an advantage for himself to try to move forward. Currently, Lamb 5th position at the moment.
We're going to find out. I mean, he's like you touched on earlier, this guy started dead last in the field with a provisional to get into this race. And he's got a little bit of right side damage, it looks like. Maybe he got in the wall at some point in this race, but it does not seem to have affected his car in any adverse way. So it's going to be fun to watch him maybe try and work his way up to, 3rd or 4th there. But what I want to see, I'm dying to see how Burgoyne plays this next restart. We saw him, he was doing pretty good on the outside there on that last one, then got a little wiggle, which killed his momentum. But he's also now had a good 5 or 6 green flag laps in those tires, kind of wearing them back in, getting the new off of them. And as we saw that long run last time before the pit stop for tires, once he gets the new off those tires, he is a force to be dealt with.
Seeing the drivers trying to figure out how are they going to be moving forward. But yeah, I mean, that was one of our biggest questions in the first half, tire-wise. Who was going to get tires? When were they going to get it? Was it going to work out? Well, you're late. Drivers got to get it, try again at side-by-side restarts. It's going to be that of David Landry, Matthew Burgoyne, Jason Rickards, Brandon Varney, Garrett Lamb, and Nick Dye are going to be your top 6 as they're all stacked up, getting ready to go. It's going to be 15 laps to go when we go green. It's the Maine Sim Racing Series. It's the All-American 400 at that of tonight's race at Nashville Fairgrounds on LSRTV. We're excited to give you to the end of this race. Green flag back in the air. Landry once again as they're bumping and grooving back at row number 6. They're getting on top of one another, but it's up front. Landry trying to get a good launch for himself, and currently they've got lap track in front of them, and they're also all back in 6th place. They're stacked up on top of one another.
Yeah, they are just stacking up all over the place right now, but look at this. Oh, Bourgoin gets into the outside wall just a little bit, but once again, that is going to kill his momentum, and that's exactly what Landry wants to see, though. He doesn't like seeing that car on the outside because he knows how strong Bourgoin is on the outside. In the meantime, the one car's got his hands full with the 88 of Dyer. Dyer is just, the car's just back out again. Sam, I can't take it anymore.
We're so close to the end. We're so close. But hey, I'm going to let you know, John, the race isn't over even with regulation. I'm sorry to say, but we do have 2 attempts of overtime if needed. As
Curse
we've got
you, man.
another
Curse you.
Poppers instant replay.
You just love popping my bubbles. Oh, it's a mess back there. My goodness.
Oh, a little bit of payback.
That was rude. Wow.
Well, let's take a look at what happened to get these guys so agitated.
Hey, what number is that Dodge anyway? Do we know? 16.
It's going to be Patrick Sullivan. Patrick Sullivan in 16. Decided, you know what, numbers, they're cool, but not for this car. This cat's too cool for you. As you saw, everyone just piling in. And I mean, at that point, I don't...
just... It's like a dildo derby on the backstretch.
Then Burgess, I get it. You're upset. It's late in the race, but you don't have to just, go after a guy that came in late and try not to be involved. Gosh.
You know what he was doing, Sam, was he was knocking that piece of debris off the car for him. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was like a piece of paper or something stuck to his car. That's all that was. He just beat a polite neighbor. That's all.
You need a little bit of aggression. Maybe with some Gorilla Glue on there.
Trying to put a positive spin on this, but dude, we're gonna have a 10-lap shootout possibly, maybe 8 or 9-lap shootout.
It's gonna be less.
Landry's got to be nervous. If I'm Landry right now, I'm sweating bullets. I am sweating bullets
when we get green, it's gonna be about 8 laps to go when we go green again, and if we get a caution with 5 laps to go, I believe 6 laps to go actually.
Don't you say it.
We will go into
Don't you
overtime,
say it.
Which we have 2 attempts if needed. But, hey, at least, John, this isn't like the LCQ where we didn't, we were concerned if we were even going to be getting get to time. But I do want to ask our producer what was the time left in this race. And guess what, John? If we do have a caution immediately after this, and we have, multiple cautions, we could run out of time. We got 11 minutes left to try to finish out 10 laps. And possibly even 2 overtime attempts.
No, they can do it. I got faith in these guys. Come on, man. I got faith in them.
Well,
these are professionals we're talking about here.
Under pacing, it's about 45 seconds for the drivers up front to do 1 lap under pacing. We do about 3 or 4 laps.
Don't say that to Landry, because last time we mentioned speed, that son of a gun put down an 18 flat lap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did that with 2
is what he's
tires
saying.
too. He's just like, you keep on judging me. You say that I can't do this. I only took 2 tires. I'll put down the fastest lap of the night, and I'll beat everyone else that is behind me on that by almost a full 10th.
I love this shot right here.
Oh, you just get to see all the cars rumbling by.
Yeah, that is such a great shot right there. Well, here we go, Sam. Call us back to the green, buddy, hopefully for the last time.
We're hoping it is. It's the Maine Sim Racing Series All-American 400. We have ourselves 8 laps to go when we go green. And guess what? The green flag is out. It's going to be that of Burgoyne as well as Landry still side by side, battling all by themselves up front for most of this race, and they're going to be still side by side. Here comes Burgoyne on the outside, going to be trying to make the power move. Still side by side going into turn number 3. Burgoyne has to hold strong through 3 and 4. The 38 coming with a muscle run. He doesn't brush the wall, and still side by side. A little bit of a door bang into 1.
This is what happened a few restarts ago. Sam, he started on the outside and really hung in there for 4 or 5 laps. Was able to take the lead away from Landry. Can he do it this time? Can he get through 3 or 4 right here without hitting that outside wall? Looks like he does it. Coming across the finish line, it's still Landry, but by a nose only.
And Landry's got to be careful because he's got that of Jason Rickards, that of Nick Dyer as well. Nick Dyer running extremely quick back and forth place, but he's got to make some passes very quickly here. So we're coming out of turn number 4. 5 laps to go. It's that of Devin Landry as well as Matthew Burgoyne. And yellow flies overtime possibly. And now we continue to look at the clock. Will we have enough time to get through all the pace laps and do another restart?
That was so unfortunate timing right there. Well, here is our Pulse Poppers replay. Gosh, we haven't said that very much tonight.
You know, I feel like they just don't get enough screen time.
That was
Why
rude.
would you do that? Tyler Jordan as well as that of Conover going to be, Conover is going to be giving a little bit of bumps on one another.
Did you just say comb over?
Yeah, on accident.
Wow. That's, Conover had a great LCQ run too. That's what's so surprising by this, But
well, he came over and you just had a poor first couple of laps, and that damage just kept on snowballing over and over again, and Conover's
which
now
doesn't help
just hoping to finish the race.
Your mindset either. Yeah, it doesn't help your mindset.
No.
Oh, and we're going green, white, checker, I'm pretty sure, because it's down to 3 to go right now.
We're still waiting to fish. I think it's once it crosses the line. That's when we'll officially get that marker of us going into overtime, as the caution came out with 5 laps to go. So there goes the lucky dog, 83, going to be getting that wave around. And also Brian Conover, who won the LCQ, the 97, involved in that last yellow that we just saw. He'll be given an EOL penalty going to the end of the line on this restart, as we are now officially in overtime, our 1 out of 2 attempts, and we are less than 8 minutes left in this session. Otherwise, we could be seeing ourselves in a situation just like the LCQ, where this race ends under yellow.
I hope not. I hope this goes to green, because I really think the 38's got something for Landry. I really do. If we can get, a really good, smooth restart, this is going to be, well, let's just say it's going to be very interesting.
Well, if you've never seen an overtime attempt, it is 2 laps. It's called a green, white, checkered in overtime. You go green. If a yellow happens while we're under that first lap, then if we get a yellow flag, we go into our second attempt. If we get the white flag, it does not matter what the next, if any cars wreck, it will be racing it to the line on who gets the win. But we're trying to hope that we get it all done in this first attempt, because time is ticking. We're not sure if we're going to be having enough time to do a second attempt for these drivers, as the pace car lights are still on. We're expecting them to go off this time by, but we have now been told 6 minutes left until we will be ending this race under yellow.
So that's it? They're not going to go back to green at all?
Well, we'll see if they do or not, but I mean, if it goes based like the LCQ, then there's a chance that we do just finish under yellow.
I hope not. I really want to see these 2 up front. The lights are off, so we'll be going green next time by. Sam, who's your pick?
Oh, I'm going to go with Landry on this one. He's just been so fast. I think he can get it done here tonight.
I hate to say this, but I mean, I hope the 38 can do something with him, but I just think you're right. I think Landry has led 95% of this race. He knows what he's doing around this track, and he's got this thing figured out. Call us back to green,
Yeah,
Sam.
he
Here
really
we go.
does. Well, it's time for our first attempt at overtime for the Maine Sim Racing Series, the All-American 400 at the Nashville Fairgrounds here on LSRTV. Who's going to get done? Landry, Burgoyne, or will it be someone else? We'll find out here. First attempt at overtime into turn number 1. It's going to be that of Devin Landry on the inside. Great launch for himself, but this is where Burgoyne finds that speed off the exit of the corner, and he wobbles just a little bit, but he's still at the quarter panel, John. Oh, coming out of turn number 4, it's gonna be get into the white flag, your CRN, 1 to go. It's Devin Landry holding off. It's Jason Rickards gonna be trying to get right on the quarter panel, possibly make a pass. The wreck behind. There goes Mooney, but it's gonna be that of Landry. So far, holding strong, but Burgoyne, he still has a shot. There, my door bang coming across the line.
Who got it?
Burgoyne,
Oh,
Matthew Burgoyne gets it done at the end.
At the line. Wow. Unbelievable. Have you
You
ever?
knew they were going to door bang it. You knew it. Landry was ahead all the way up to the center of 3 and 4. And Matthew Burgoyne able to get back on the throttle just fast enough, even with the door banging that happened. It was the 38 getting it done. Whew. That was, hey, John, 2 days in a
I don't
row.
even have
Great
asthma,
racing.
but I need an inhaler.
21 thousandths of a second was the difference between that of Matthew Burgoyne and Devin Landry at the finish. Once again, a spectacular finish. John, I don't know what's up with you and me in the broadcast booth this week, but we did it again with another fabulous finish. We love it, but we're going to take a look here at our unofficial results as it was chaos at the end. It's going to be that of Matthew Burgoyne going to be getting the win here tonight, with that of Devin Landry going to get second place. That of Jason Rickards going to be getting third, with that of Nick Dyer going to be getting fourth place. Brandon Varney's going to be getting fifth. Garrett Lamb going to be getting sixth place, with Kenny Tripp going to be getting seventh, with Mario Ercolini in eighth. That of Taylor Birchelder is going to be getting ninth place, with that of Mateo Lapointe going to be getting 10th, as we give it to John for the rest of the top 20.
And 11th was Ashton Burgess. 12th was Chris Burgess. 13th, Patrick Sullivan. Kyle Mooney brings in 14th. 15th, Adam Jocelyn. 16th, the 97 of Brian Conover, who had a rough night. Rounding out your top 20 is Matthew Murphy in the 70 car. Tyler Jordan, 18th and 29. Ben Burgess in the 7 car, 19th. And 20th will be Ed Connolly in the 11 car.
Then going to be finishing out our last 6. It's going to be that of Scott Trappel, as well as Chris Forder, as well as Ryan Ripley, Frank Meliton, as well as that of going to be finishing out as, gosh, I am struggling to read for a minute. It's Ben Ashland, as well as AJ Pickard's going to be finishing out your 26 drivers that raced here for the 200-lap featured race. We'll be back in just a few to talk to our top 3, that of Jason Rickards, Devin Landry, and Matthew Burgoyne, excuse me. We're going to be seeing how those drivers were able to hold on, get the win done. We'll see if John stays with us or if he wants to go hang out with his daughter. We'll find out all those answers in just a few. Well, what a way to start out the season for the Maine Sim Racing Series, as it was a spectacular finish. Side by side, 21 thousandths of a second was the difference between our front two. But we're going to start things off with third place runner Jason Rickards. Jason, what a race. It took, 200 laps. It's a marathon. But give us your thoughts of how that end of the race went for yourself.
Yeah, it was a game of nutrition. I wanted to hang around, save my tires, play a little strategy when we all pitted and stuff, and see if I could get in front. It's so hard to pass, the bumps and everything. The track is a lot of fun to race, but them guys make it look easy in the top two. It's really hard to run side by side.
Well, I have a real quick question for you, Mr. Ricker. Your car is a beautiful car, by the way, but when you guys came out of, I want to say actually more like when you went into 3 and 4 for that last lap, what was going through your mind as you look out your windshield and you see first and second try to wreck each other? What was your thought process right there on what you were going to do?
I really wanted to assist them in that whole thing, have an assist in that, and pushing Devin up into Matt. But being a teammate at RKM and stuff, I didn't think that was going to be a real fun adventure the rest of the week. So I decided I just wanted a good top 5 finish, start the season off strong, had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, it is the start of the season. Top 3 finish for yourself. Going into these next couple of races, how are you feeling about your shot of having some good runs?
I like it. I've been doing a lot of practicing. I run with Devin a lot, Ryan Kuhn a lot, Matt Burgoyne a lot. All 3 of us are in a Discord together and stuff, and they've taught me a lot over the years. So the next couple of races, I think, are like Hickory and Myrtle Beach. Really looking forward to those.
Well, Jason, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
RKM Setup Shop, Studio 10, Graphics, Devin. Really got to thank them guys for helping me out all the time, doing my paint, Studio 10, RS Center, Ryan Kuhn, them guys helping out a lot. Really want to give them a shout-out. Devin, always helping me.
Well, that's Jason Rickards in the 9 machine, getting a top 3 finish here tonight, and good luck Wednesday for that at Myrtle Beach.
Thank you.
Well, we're now going to move down to second place, where we have that of Devin Landry. Devin dominating tonight's race, but coming up just shy there at the end. Give us your thoughts there at those last couple attempts, trying to hold off that of the 38.
Well, I mean, as Ricker said, we race all the time together, so there was really no point in trying to wreck him or move him. I was just going to race him clean to the line and maybe run him up at going to the line like I did, but, I mean, I can't be mad. It was a heck of a race. There's no reason to be upset. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to try to call. Go ahead.
I don't know. It just, maybe I should have ran him up more in the corner, but like I said, we just raced so much together. Make him earn it.
Well, Devin, we were talking about this during the broadcast. Several restarts before that last one. We saw a double foul restart where Matt was up on the outside of you, and you guys drove side by side for a good 4 or 5 laps before he was able to take the lead away from you. And then shortly after that, the caution came back out. So my question is, when you had that final restart and you saw that he was going to be on the outside of you yet again, what was your thought process there? Did you know that you're going to have to defend him on the outside? Were you hoping that maybe he'd wiggle it again and give you some space?
Well, what was really going through my head was, do I give him the top again or do I take the top? But no matter what I do, I think he would have done the same thing I did on the bottom, run him up a little bit, but I don't think it really mattered. We were just battling hard. I mean, he got a really good restart, got a good jump, and was there right at my door, beat me to the line, and I was really worried that there was going to be a yellow and he was going to get the lead. But I drove it down in turn 1 and made sure I had the lead if a yellow came out.
I mean, Devin, also we could give a little bit of a rundown on the 2-tire strategy and that talking point. What was going through your mind thinking about only going with 2 tires on that pit stop?
I don't know. It just feels better, I guess. Like Matt said, on 4 he was tight, and on 2 I was sideways. So the 2 it was really fast, but I don't know. 4 might still be better because he beat me. I don't know.
Well, if it's based off of raw speed, you put down the fastest lap of the night with an 18.08 compared to everyone else that was not even close. So I think the two tires certainly showed a lot of pace. But Devin, before letting you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
I got to thank RKM Setup Shop, Studio 10, Matt, of course, Jason for being like my counselor, calming me down because I get angry sometimes. Ryan Kuhn, everybody on RKM, honestly, and Mateo in the race, and all the guys for racing me clean. That's about it.
That's Devin Landry, the 54 team, going to get a second place finish here tonight, and good luck on Wednesday at Myrtle Beach.
Thank you, sir.
And now we head to Victory Lane, where we find that of Matthew Burgoyne. Matthew, what a race for yourself. You kept on following Devin all race long, but those final couple of restarts, you have finally had a shot on the outside, and you got it done just by a little bit of your nose, but that's all you needed.
Yeah, I had to pedal hard a little bit on the outside there. I definitely pinched him down. I definitely appreciative of Devin. He could have ran me up, and the race would have been over in turn 3 and 4, but he raced me straight up. I pinched him down really hard and was able to get the run up off the corner. I definitely, the last couple laps there, it's being a little bit more aggressive, making sure I tried taking his exit of the corner away. But I think we were pretty equally matched through the whole race. The two tires, I think, fired off better. It was a little bit looser of a setup. It loosened the car up a little bit. But all those cautions, I actually think the 4 tires was evening up with the 2 tires in. If we had a couple more, I think the 4 tires might have came around. But yeah, hindsight 2020, we ended up coming on top, and it was a good race.
Well, Matthew, I tell you what, I've got to say, man. First off, that was the most impressive display of driving between 2 drivers I've seen in a while, and I find it very impressive and interesting that you guys are all teammates and that you can get along this well after racing each other so hard. And congratulations on your win. I guess my only question is, are you ready for Dirty Myrtle?
Oh yeah, I love Myrtle Beach. I think all the racetracks on the schedule are going to be fun. I think Hickory is going to it's going to give the most challenge, especially when it's open setup and the track's really bumpy. I do have to get a shout out to Devin and RKM. They did build an awesome setup for tonight's race. It was very racy. They did a heck of a job. I think Devin put in most of the work for it, and I think Ricker helped them out some of them there. I didn't have any feedback on the setup. I'm not actually, we talk in Discord, but I'm not part of the RKM. I'm not part of that team, but we're all friends and stuff.
Yeah, Matthew, a great run here tonight, and with the way that tonight went, having the most momentum going into Myrtle Beach, how do you feel like you're going to be able to carry this momentum into those next couple of races? And you touched on Hickory a little bit. We're going to be racing at Hickory a lot this season. Are you prepared for going to that course?
Oh yeah, we've been testing it because we really don't know what the weather's going to be. So I kind of get set up for every weather kind of starting. I got a couple more to go. So we should be pretty prepared for Hickory. It's going to be interesting to see because we're going to have me and maybe Max will be on the same set. Devin and Jason and them will be on a different one. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see who's going to be faster at the end of the day.
And certainly is going to be spicing up the stories for us to talk about throughout the season. Matthew, great run. Congratulations on the move of the night with that pass coming out of turn number 4 on the outside to get the win. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Oh, I got to thank Sean Kimball from this on. Really appreciate it. He puts in work makes all the rules and, countless hours that no one really gets to see. I appreciate it. Thanks to RKM for providing the setup and Devin putting the work in. It's a lot better than the fixed setup that comes with it. A lot more racy. You guys put the broadcast on. And shout out to my wife for putting up with me. I didn't even go to bed last night. We went down. I left at 2:30 to go to Thompson Speedway, grabbed some race car parts, and I got home at 7 o'clock. I'm like, I'm going on iRacing. And she wasn't mad at me or anything. So big shout out to her for supporting me and all my racing adventures.
Well, that's going to be your race winner here tonight in the 38 machine. It's Matthew Burgoyne winning here at Nashville Fairgrounds to start out the season on the highest note. Congratulations on the win, and good luck on Wednesday at Myrtle Beach.
Thank you.
Well, John, quickly, I know you want to get out of here as fast as possible. Great racing here tonight. What are some of your final thoughts racing here at Nashville?
I was absolutely impressed, Sam, with the caliber of driving we saw. Now, yeah, there was a lot of cautions, but we expected that coming into Nashville with super late models. I really don't think it was more than we expected. But when we were green flag racing, great race, especially up front with the winner and Rickard and Devin. I just really find it impressive that those three can be teammates and race each other that hard and still not have any hard feelings at the end of the race. As for next time, buddy, I'm going to stock up on inhalers, even though I don't have asthma, because it looks like I'm probably going to need them the way these guys drive. It was a great race. I had a great time in the booth with you. And one more time, I just want to give a shout out to Cody Wooten, our producer. Great camera shots there, great coverage, and just thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
John, it was a pleasure to have you, and it was amazing racing to see here tonight. Thanks again for Maine Sim Racing Series for joining us on LSRTV. It is, honestly, can't believe it's the start of the season, and they already have put us on a high marker for us to get excited for what's to come. The next race, like we've been noting on Myrtle Beach, going to be on Wednesday night. They're going to be in the late models and the super late models. I cannot wait to see more amazing racing action Wednesday night. But for us on LSR TV, next coverage going to be Monday night, where the Northwest Cup drivers going to be racing at Homestead to find out who's going to be in the Final Four to race for a championship for the week after that at Las Vegas. But for tonight, big thanks to LSR TV Studios. Thanks for John Mustin Jr. for joining me up in the booth, and also for that Jeff Staff now, Rocket Media, LLC, and everyone else that makes LSR TV come to work and have an amazing show each day. Can't wait for the next race. It's going to be a good one. But for us, have a great rest of your night.